'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the land Fox News warned its viewers of a dastardly plan. The liberals were launching their war on the season to get rid of Christmas and commit acts of treason, removing decorations out of their sight and telling you that Santa and Jesus ain't white. Environmentalists who will come right after your soul. They hate all things Christmas, especially the coal. They'll sneak in your house all dressed in their flannel and instead give the bad kids some new solar panels. They'll take up all decorations that please us. They'll even go after tiny baby Jesus. Now all these Fox lies cause such a frustration. Who would save us all from this misinformation? When live from the net there came lots of chatter. Could it be old St. Nick, or perhaps someone fatter? Broadcasting from New Orleans down in Louisiana, it was none other than Liberal Dan, coming to save the holiday season, busting through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. But I cannot do it myself, he exclaimed, so he called other groups, each one by name, on Christians, on Muslims, on Wiccans, on Jews, on Hindus and Buddhists and atheists too. Let's all spread the word and tell them indeed that there's no war on Christmas, just one on greed. So instead of joining this manufactured fight, listen to Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right. Okay, I guess I played the wrong version of the thing. Anyway, it happens from time to time, I suppose. Hold on, let me get my image up. Welcome to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk for the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll open up the phone lines in a little bit, and we'll try it again. We had some technical difficulties last time, but I think the person might have just hung up after before it was too soon. Like, it takes a few minutes, it takes a few seconds to actually process the whole thing to get in there. So we'll open up the phone lines again in a little bit and see if we can get it to work and see if it was just user error or what. But other ways to support the show, join the show, just leave your comments in liberaldanradio.com on the live stream on YouTube, or go to twitch.tv/liberaldanradio as well. Both ways, both chat rooms are there. We are no longer bothering with Blog Talk Radio anymore, considering we have the phone number now that hopefully should work at some point when we test that. And we do have, I have another soundboard that I downloaded that isn't as heavy, and it's more lightweight, but it's a little too lightweight, so I may have to find a happy medium.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Donald. That was my fat fingering it twice, so that wasn't the bug in the software. That was me. Welcome, Rose, back to the stream. Liberal Rose, cat butt from the left. That's right. So her claws are really sharp. Like these past few days, they've just really been gouging me. Like during my stream on Nerdy Dan yesterday, she was just having a good old time trying to claw me up. So, anyway, what you do, my rosy posies? What you do's? You need love. Like last night, I was sitting there playing Disney Dreamlight Valley over on twitch.tv/nerdydan.com, and she got over here. I had moved this cat thing over here just temporarily. It's kind of broken, and we need to get it moved, but I had to get it out the way. And I wasn't paying her any attention, so she starts like tapping at my arm, like, Daddy, please pet me, love on me. I need scritchins. So, Rose wants her scritchins. She will get her scritchins. But if Rose doesn't want to be touched, she will run away from you as fast as possible. So, anyway, shouts out to people in the chat currently. We got the Mod Squad. We got Jolie and Aaron. Thank you all so much as always. We got Fancy in the chat. Suzanne. Josh. Let's see what else. Yes, you love on me. Steve from across the pond. CR. Jeff. Did I say Jeff already? I don't know if I said Jeff. Mad Mac. All y'all, thank you so much for joining, smashing that like button, and for all you do with the show. Appreciate y'all a lot. Anyway, what you doing, my Rosie? This is just gonna be Liberal Dan loving on his kitty today. Rosie wants to be loved on and needs to show off. At least she's not. I'm gonna jinx it to say at least she's not showing off her butt yet. But it's still early in the show. We have plenty of time for everybody to see Rosie's little cat butt. And the funny thing about Rose is that typically orange cats are male, from what I understand. So the fact that we got a female orange cat is interesting indeed. Now I'm just scratching the air. If anybody tuned in right there, I'd be like, what is Dan doing? Is he having a stroke? Just because, he's sitting there and stroking his little kitty cat. Yeah, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Yeah, you need that loving. Yeah, Rose is engaging the cloaking device right now. Oh, there you go. There's cat butt. I knew the cat butt was coming. Engage cloaking device, Rose. Get lots of scritches. Yes, you're so sweet. Anyway, and of course you're never going to see Gloria, because Gloria hates me. You might see Sophia occasionally, but she hardly ever joins me for the podcast. She usually likes to sit on the stairs and just kind of survey the land and look at everything. So, yeah, you're looking for my hand. Am I not going to be able to do anything, scrolling around and looking at other screens because you need my hand? So funny. Anyways, how are y'all doing today? It was so funny. Like, I had... my wife runs a gluten-free group because she has celiac disease. She runs the gluten-free group, and it's called Gluten-Free Crescent City. Because the other group, Gluten-Free New Orleans, was kind of just shut down. A friend of ours was running it, but she left the state, and she just felt like just archiving the group. But there's another group called Gluten-Free in New Orleans. And this group magically started getting a bunch of requests, I guess, for people to participate. I don't know why. But what was interesting, the interesting thing about that is, if you remember our show on Taylor Swift, if you remember that show and everything that was going on with the individual, when I made the show about Fox on Both Your Houses, if you remember that one and all the conversation about what was going on, that same person is the one that ran that group, or runs that group, and that was the group that was involved with the raffles that I had or whatever that I participated in. There was the 3 that I won, but I only got one of them, and then she didn't want to help me with the other 2, that sort of thing. But so she posts in the group. I gotta find this. I gotta find the screenshot that I had, because this is just hilarious. It might be easier to get it this way. Hold on. Let's pop on over to my inbox, and because I forwarded it to Julia, who was the one who was the guest on the show, who gave us all the tea and the information about her and all of the shenanigans that were going on. But anyway, so there's a post in the group, and it goes, looking for some new moderators and admins to help run the group. It's just been me for a decade, and I'm extremely busy with other stuff now. Don't want to let y'all down, so let me know if you'd be interested by DMing Rebecca Fox. She was busy with other stuff, and I responded back with other stuff in quotes, because we all know what that other stuff was, in my opinion, or at least, if you want to be giving and give her the benefit of the doubt, it was getting overloaded and getting in over your head with a bunch of Taylor Swift stuff. If you're not going to give the benefit of the doubt, you might think it was other stuff was trying to escape being a grifter and not having to suffer the consequences of your actions, my opinion at least. And so, yeah, I posted other stuff, and here's the thing that just drives me crazy when people do this, and it's a sheer sign of a lack of intelligence, which is, she responded to me saying something, and I don't know what she said, because then she deleted the comment. Like, why are you going to delete the comment? Why are you going to bother posting a response to the comment if you're just going to delete the comment? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. So yeah, that was, and then come to find out, I was talking to somebody else who knows her, and like there was some claim that she like won money on a game show or something. I was like, well, if she's rich from that, then she's really lying to the people who are trying to get reimbursed from all of the stuff that took place at her Taylor Swift thing. But Apparently she was on the daytime version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Meredith Vieira, I think, and she won like $16,000 on that. Apparently she was also on Price is Right. I can't find anything about that. She was also on like some Storage Wars type show, but it wasn't Storage Wars, where you go around and you buy, you try and buy in auction like the contents of storage units, and then, you know, see what you get and then try and flip it or whatever. Just seems par for the course, at least. I don't know. So it was just amusing, just kind of a small update with what was going on with Rebecca and all of her shenanigans that were going on. And I figured I would just share that because I was highly amused about that. Let's see, Mad Mac, how's the diet going, Dan? You're looking fit. Well done, too. Or you're having more energy as well. I don't know about the more energy yet. I'm probably, the other medicine that I'm taking should also help with the energy, but that's probably not going to take effect for, I probably won't feel the effects of that for maybe a couple more weeks. I haven't felt like I necessarily needed to go back to sleep once I dropped, for like an hour or so, once I dropped my kid off at school in the morning, but, I haven't, I still want to, but I haven't felt like I've needed to. So there's that. But I know I've lost about at least 20 at this point, I think. Maybe a little more. I haven't weighed myself in a few days. And I'm up to the 7.5 milligram or whatever dose of the Zepbound, and I think it's going to go up 2 more steps over the next 2 months. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah. But it's going pretty well. I mean, I feel a little bit better. Like, I don't necessarily feel as bad with standing around in as much pain on my knees, but I still have stress on my knees and it still kind of hurts. So it's kind of a hard metric there. My wife does seem to say that when she sees me full body, just my whole, not just my shoulders up, but from head to toe, she has said that I look less bloated. So I guess that's good. My appetite hasn't been that, lacking this week. I don't know. I probably didn't have a great dinner tonight. So I probably do need to start eating better on top of the Zepbound, but I've just been kind of running around and dealing with end of year stuff, so it hasn't really been that great. But it's nice to be able to, until I get the sulfur burps, it's nice to be able to see at least some progress going on with it, and hopefully there'll be more progress in the future. So that's a good thing. But thank you for noting. It makes me feel good. Of course, there's this old John Pinette. If you remember John Pinette, he was a very large comedian as well, and he always had he had the whole thing about going to the Chinese buffet, and the guy told him, "You go now, you're here for hours," or whatever. And we saw him in concert. He was freaking hysterical in concert. I think it was after 1 or 2 years being married. He was over on the Mississippi coast, and so we saw him out there, and he was hilarious. But there was a joke that he told one time where he's like, "I lost 100 pounds." And somebody was like, "I can really see it in your face." And I knew exactly where he was going with it. And it, even though I predicted what the punchline was, it was still funny as hell. He was like, "How big was my face?" Because if that's where you see it, I mean, holy crap. But yeah, you pay now. You don't come here anymore. You're so big, you should eat vegetable. So I used to love John Pinette. He was freaking hysterical. John Pinette, I mean, one of the reasons I knew of Hal Sparks from way back in the day is from me watching a whole bunch of Comedy Central when Comedy Central was pretty much just stand-up routines. So there you go. Big Hook. Fancy seeing you here. Ba-dum-bum. I need to get a rim shot because for my soundboard, or need to re-upload it because currently I only have this one.
It is what it is.
And I also have the one for Impeccable Living. If you know. And anyway, so I need to get some more. But I'm probably going to download another soundboard just to try and see if I can find one that actually suits my purposes, because I don't want to have to hit 2 buttons or 2 mouse clicks in order to play the sounds that I want to play, even though that sound that I'm playing is pretty much the main one that I play. But this one also can't handle WAV files very well. Like, some of my sounds initially are in WAV files. I guess back in the day I thought that would, I don't know why. Maybe I think Audacity is my software that I use to edit my audio clips. And I think back in the day I did not have the plugin for Audacity to be able to process MP3s, so some of my earlier clips are WAV files. And this soundboard does not like WAV files whatsoever.
So, like, I played it and it would be like it plays it super duper fast. So yeah, we're not going to be using that. We'll probably be moving on to another soundboard after this one, but this is like my third one. So anyway, hey Teresa, good to see you. Another interesting, I don't have the clip yet. I haven't been able to get my hands on the clip, but if you remember the show on Monday, and I was talking about autism and how Donald Trump wants to look into vaccines and autism, even though there's no link between the two. There's no correlation between the two. Clearly, it's just, other things. And I captured that one piece and just uploaded that video to YouTube as its standalone thing. Apparently, Stephanie Miller saw it and cited it on her show. And I'm like, that's very exciting. I'm very excited to know that Stephanie Miller happened to mention me on the show. I'm not quite at the point where and in the list of people that she labels off for all of the left-leaning, progressive type podcasts that are out there. That's a future goal, I guess, to be in that list where she just starts rambling off all of the leftist shows that are out there trying to make a difference. But she was making some really good points the other day. I was watching the show a little bit yesterday after I did my Nerdy Dan stream, and she was basically making the point, and I kind of expounded to it on the YouTube clip YouTube clips that I did find, that basically were like, look, the regular media, or the legacy left-leaning liberal type media has basically become worthless. It basically has, the people who are willing to just kowtow to Trump after the fact that he won, and you had Joe and Mika running over to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring, and you have other folks who just are willing to now bend over backwards and forwards, or however he wants to not be seen as, I guess, the enemy. Not that it matters if you're the enemy now. If you were the enemy 6 months ago, you're still the enemy now, even if you kiss his butt enough. I mean, at least unless you're actually in Congress, then maybe he'll make an exception for you. I don't know. But welcome back, Rose. And so yeah, I've talked about it before. You had Alex Wagner, who had no idea what the manosphere was. And I'm like, how are you existing in a world of online social media and covering like online stuff and conservative stuff and not know what the manosphere was? I've known about that for years. It's terrible. It's a horrible. It's a hive of scum and villainy. You had Lawrence O'Donnell, who first picked or said that Donald Trump would never run for president in 2016. That was his prediction, and he was dead wrong on that. He said that now that the 57% of Florida came out and showed that they were against these abortion bans, that the GOP's going to magically listen. Sorry, Lawrence. You're wrong there, too. I mean, Lawrence O'Donnell does some good things with his Kind Fund, with the desks that he sends to children, and that's great that he does that. I'm glad he could use his show to do such things. I hope I get big enough sometime where I can actually, make a difference in the world and start, using whatever notoriety I might have at some future date to be able to allow, people to connect people with other people and have them help each other. It's great that he does that, but, if you're not going to understand how the Republican Party works, and if you're not going to understand how Donald Trump works, then what good are you in trying to explain the Republican Party and Donald Trump? So, yeah, big hook. It's the blackmail factor at the expense of credibility. And a lot of them are losing their credibility. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Let's see. Put too much of a certain powder in coffee this morning, went to the store and realized I was baked because I was looking at bubble gum. I hate gum. Left and took the back roads home. Well, I'm glad you didn't get in an accident, at least. But there you go. There was a joke that I saw on some channel. It's a very cute channel. It's like a couple. It's a lesbian couple that kind of like, they'll kind of, make kind of cute jokes. It's a very sweet channel, but sometimes they'll make kind of raunchy jokes too. And what was it, like the one who usually makes the dirty jokes talks to the one that seems more pure and innocent, and was like, what goes in your mouth hard, but then comes out soft or whatever. And she was like, what? And she's like, chewing gum or bubble gum or whatever. Yeah, Mad Mac, orange turd doesn't work. He is a lazy shite. Exactly. But, he has other people working for him. let's see, one thing about Twitter, before we talk about the main thing about Elon, is part of the main show topic, is that I saw some tweet that was out there that Elon Musk doesn't want anybody to use hashtags. He thinks they're ugly. He doesn't like them. I don't know if that's because he's neurodivergent and something about his neurodivergence just irks him about the hashtags. I love hashtags. I love using hashtags, because especially if you're hashtagging a multi-word hashtag, you save space after the first. If it's 3 or more words in the hashtag, you're saving space on your limited space in the tweet. Maybe that's why Elon Musk doesn't want you to use hashtags, because he doesn't want you to be able to save space. If you want to be able to type more in a tweet, he wants you to buy the Twitter Premium so that you can give him more money. Something I absolutely will not be doing. Not at all. And if he were smart, though, if Elon Musk was smart, he would give people a quote or whatever, and basically say, if you were to have subscribed and be a paying member of Twitter at this point, you would have earned X amount of money. Or at least make it a tool available that would say, what would my Twitter earnings be as a Twitter user if I were to pay for this subscription? Of course he won't do it, because then people will know if it's worth it for them to pay, if it's not worth it to pay, and he probably has a bunch of rubes to pay into, so they can get their fancy little check mark, but it's not worth a damn for them to do it, other than giving them more room to blather on about their manosphere, incel, MAGA bullshit. But if he basically was like, look, if you spent $9 a month, you'd be getting back $20 a month in return, so therefore there would be a net less money going to Elon Musk, maybe I'd do it. But no. Otherwise I wouldn't, and I'm not going to give Musk a single penny of my money. But, I'm sorry, this should be Trump's word. I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Anyway, and you notice I actually went in and fixed the audio and made it louder, so you're not trying to squint and hear what's that saying? Yeah, because it was very low last show, so to speak. So, yeah, Musk doesn't want you to use hashtags. Of course, again, as I said, if Elon Musk was smart, he would have given you that information on how to know if it's worth it to subscribe to Twitter or not. But he's not smart. All of the stuff that he gets credit for are stuff that he bought using his family's diamond blood money. But also, if he was smart and he doesn't like hashtags, he would have figured out and went to his software team at least and said, hey, software team, why don't you reprogram Twitter and disable the hashtag function? So if you disable the hashtag function, people won't be able to use hashtags. But again, Elon's not smart. Elon's dumb. Elon's a very dumb person, in my opinion. And as such, he's never gonna figure one part out himself, because he's not somebody who's a change agent in the fact that he thinks of new ideas. He steals ideas and claims them as his own. Making Twitter a $44 billion loss seems like a good idea. Exactly. Everyone is going to stop Twitter on Inauguration Day, like Malcolm Nance suggested, and send a clear message. Maybe. I mean, here's the thing with me and Twitter. I'm trying to use Blue Sky more. Clearly, I think Blue Sky is a much better platform in that there's much less crap over there. I'm more likely to see things that I want to see. And apparently, Elon Musk also tweeted earlier today that they're changing the algorithm to show more things maybe that you might like, but is it more things that you might like, or is it more things that he thinks you might like? Because if it's more things that he thinks you might like, it's probably just going to be more propaganda and BS being shoved down your throat via your Twitter feed. And nobody wants that. Yeah, Twitter has to be using a lot of money. Yes, indeed. Let's see, have you seen photos of Elmo without a shirt? I have seen. Well, we shouldn't be body shaming, though, on this show. I am definitely not one to support body shaming. You know, if Musk wants to walk around you know, without a shirt and show off his very, 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 very white body, I mean, it's just true. He's very, 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 very white. More power to him. I mean, I'm sure people have seen me without a shirt at the beach and have made fun of me too. So let's not body shame. There's plenty of things about Elon Musk that we can make fun of and mock and ridicule him for that doesn't include shaming him. I won't even... Only time I'll pick on Donald Trump is when he body shames in a hypocritical way. If he does it in a hypocritical way, I'll point out the hypocrisy. Or if anybody really body shames in a hypocritical way, I will point out the hypocrisy of them body shaming. Clearly. But I'm not a big fan of just body shaming in general. Unless that's somebody's kink and you're consenting to it, then by all means shame away and do that kink, so to speak. So fancy left X a long time ago. Yeah, and that's the thing with me. And I don't call it X. I call it Twitter. If you're gonna still call it tweets, I'm gonna still call it Twitter. One of the reasons I haven't left, and hi Orville over in Twitch land. I did see you. Thank you for joining the show over there. The reason I haven't left the world of Twitch yet, and I'm horrible people over there, and don't worry about it, man, Mac. I mean, it's understandable. A lot of people do it. It's fine. It's just not something that I do. And, you know, I know how it feels. And I'm sure there are people who have body shamed me because, you know, they disagree with me, whatever. But I'm not... Oh, crap. Do we lose our feed? I don't know. Looks like there's no signal on Twitch, maybe, but it's still showing a signal on YouTube, so I don't know. You're still seeing this on YouTube, y'all? For some reason, I'm not seeing it on Twitch. I'm not seeing something on... I'm not seeing that I'm getting kilobits per second on Twitch, but I am seeing megabits per second on YouTube over on my screen. So, well, it's good that I see you. I buffered for a second, but I'm still live on YouTube. Well, that's good. There we go. We're streaming. We now have more kilobits per second flowing over to Twitch now, so that's good. So, yay. Glad it was just a hiccup and not a full-on breaking of the internet again. Anyway. Thank you, Jolie, for showing the Blue Sky link. And it's pretty much to find me anywhere, it's Liberal Dan Radio. All one word. Liberal Dan Radio on Blue Sky, Liberal Dan Radio on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc. It's all Liberal Dan Radio. The only thing that's not Liberal Dan Radio is the Venmo link, which is just Liberal Dan. So... Twitch is back. Soon you'll see. But anyway, there's so many bad, horrible people over on Twitter that it's such good show prep. Like, you could find plenty of stuff. I'm sure I can find plenty of stuff other ways as well, but I'm sure my access and use or whatever on Twitter is not helping Elon Musk making any more money. Because I'm pretty sure I'm kind of what do they call it when you're not blacklisted, but when you're shadow banned. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned there because I don't get a lot of interactions. I'll randomly get interactions like they're old, and I'll randomly get interactions from people if I happen to talk about or respond to something that's controversial or whatever. Anyway. One thing I am looking forward to, and I was hoping it would be today, but they say it's going to be before Christmas, so hopefully we'll either do it on Monday or we'll do it on the Christmas show. Is because I'll air for Christmas, first night of Christmas and Christmaka, because it's the first night of Hanukkah is Christmas Day, or the night of Christmas Day, not Christmas Eve, but the night of Christmas Day is the first night of Hanukkah, and I'll start my Hanukkah song, you know, because I do a Hanukkah song that I came up with back, I think, when I was in middle school. I came up with at least the start of it, and then it has gone on from there. Where it's pretty much like, on the first night of Hanukkah, my rabbi gave to me a bagel with lox and cream cheese. So, and then it goes on from there for 8 nights. And so I usually post all of that on my Facebook page. And I actually started, I think, posting it to YouTube on my Nerdy Dan channel, maybe. But I don't think I finished it last year. So I'll have to redo it again and start sharing the nights of Hanukkah. There we go. There's Impeccable Living.
Oh, my.
There we go. And that's the other one I have loaded up on my soundboard currently, is just Trump and Takei. Good to see you, Impeccable Living. Glad you could join us, even if you're between dates. But anyway, so by Christmas Eve, we should see, because the committee, the House Ethics Committee, voted in secret to release Matt Gaetz' ethics report, according to a source. House Ethics Committee has voted in secret to release the long-awaited ethics report into ex-rep Matt Gaetz, raising the possibility that the allegations against the Florida Republican, who was President-elect Donald Trump's first choice for AG, could be made public in the coming days. The decision by the bipartisan committee was made earlier this month, according to a person familiar with the vote, who is not authorized to speak publicly and discuss the matter. That person spoke on a condition of anonymity. Funny how those things work. It's a stunning turnaround for the often secretive panel of 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats. Just last month, members voted along party lines to not release the findings of their nearly 4-year investigation into the allegations of sexual misconduct with minors and use of illicit drugs while Gaetz was in office. Democrats pressed to make it public, even though Gaetz was no longer in Congress and had been withdrawn from Trump's pick to lead the Justice Department. A vote on the House floor this month to force the report release failed. All but 1 Republican voted against it. Gaetz lashed out Wednesday on social media against the latest development, again denying any wrongdoing. So let's go ahead and pop that open real quick and see. We have Musk's feed open because we want to look into Musk's feed on that as well. Unfortunately, there's a reporter whose name is Matt Gertz, and as soon as it was announced that the report on Matt Gaetz was released, Matt Gertz tweeted out, "Oh no." Why? Because people will often, when they're trying to tweet at Matt Gaetz, they will then tweet at Matt Gertz, and he has to explain that he's not that person. So let's see. Here's the thing on JD. That's the thing on JD Vance. I need to find us something. Anyway, he rants and raves. Maybe we'll go over the rants and raves of Matt Gaetz later, or maybe we'll go over the rants and raves of Matt Gaetz when they actually release the report, so we can compare his statements to the statements in there. The question is, will there be a tattler amongst the staff to warn the public of Trump's insanity? Maybe, hopefully, at least until he fires them all, even the civil service people. So. But anyway, I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll do a special show if it's released like on Friday, but I may. If it's released on Friday, I'll probably just go over it Monday, because there'll probably be a lot to go over. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel. Anyway, again,
it is what it is.
Thank you. It's the Goddess. Kimchi is in chat. Welcome to the chat, Goddess. Good to see you. Mad Mac. My W sticks sometimes. Well, fortunately, W didn't stick as president for more than 8 years. Sorry. But one of the amazing things is just that, and I almost did Hypocrite of the Week this week for Trump or Vance or whatever, simply because of the fact that, Republicans are often railing on about, we don't need to increase the debt ceiling, we need to rein in spending. Well, we can rein in spending, but sometimes you still have to increase the debt ceiling to be able to deal with that. And it's been my opinion that the debt ceiling should be considered to be unconstitutional, simply because of the fact that the Constitution states that the debt of the United States can never be questioned. So if the debt is always seen as legitimate, why do you need to keep increasing the debt ceiling over and over and over again? Just say, we don't have a debt ceiling, and let it be that. Statement from J.D. Vance, from President Donald Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, according to J.D. Vance's Twitter account. The most foolish and inept thing ever done by congressional Republicans was allowing our country to hit the debt ceiling in 2025. It was a mistake and is now something that must be addressed. Meanwhile, Congress is considering a spending bill that would give sweetheart provisions for government censors and for Liz Cheney. The bill would make it easier to hide the records of the corrupt, January 6th committee, which accomplished nothing for the American people and hid security failures that happened that day. No, that's completely 100% wrong. The bill would also give Congress a pay increase while many Americans are struggling this Christmas. I mean, I can agree with the fact that maybe Congress doesn't need a pay increase at this point in time, but, you know, it is what it is. Increasing the debt ceiling is not great, but we'd rather do it on Biden's watch. If Democrats won't cooperate on the debt ceiling now, what makes anyone think they will do it in June during our administration? Let's have this debate now, and we should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and Democrats everything they want. Republicans want to support our farmers. No, they don't. Republicans elected Donald Trump, who screwed our farmers back when he imposed his initial tariffs. Pay for disaster relief. No, they don't. Republicans denied payment of disaster relief and refused to pay what needed to be done in North Carolina specifically for disaster relief because they were more concerned about screwing or seizing power in government because they were about to lose the supermajority in the legislature. And set our country up for success in 2025. If we wanted to set our country up for success in 2025, we would not have elected Donald Trump. The only way to do that is with a temporary funding bill without Democrat giveaways, combined with an increase in the debt ceiling. Anything else is a betrayal of our country. Nobody was talking about the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling was not something that was even being thought of in this debate. The debt ceiling is not in danger of being hit for at least another 6 months. But we'll get back to that in a second. Republicans must get smart. Good luck on that one, buddy. And tough. Again, these people are spineless and refuse to stand up to Donald Trump. The Republicans are neither smart nor tough. If Democrats threaten to shut down the government unless we give them everything we want, call their bluff. It is Schumer and Biden who are holding up aid to our farmers in disaster relief. No, it's not. The chaos would not be happening if we had a real president. We will in 32 days. All right. So if there was no risk that we were going to have to hit the debt ceiling anytime in the near future, there's no risk for that. Why need it? Why do we need it now? Other than just to push it on the Democrats. Oh, it was the Dems' fault. It happened under Biden. Donald Trump doesn't want it happening under him. But are there other potentially nefarious reasons for them to want to increase the debt ceiling and make sure it's increased prior to Donald Trump taking office? So that it's in effect once Donald Trump takes office? I mean, today you had Elon Musk out there, saying the voice of the people was heard. It was a good day for America because they refused to pass the existing continuing resolution. And he's retweeting everybody about this BS. And why would Elon Musk and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want this changed legislation? Why would they want to include in this changed legislation the debt ceiling? Now, of course, remember, one of the reasons I'm saying that is Musk the de facto president is because we've seen Musk all over the place with Donald Trump. Elon Musk can never constitutionally become president because he's not a natural-born citizen. But if he has the ear of President Trump, or soon-to-be President Trump, if he has his ear and is able to actually, get him to do whatever the hell he wants him to do, then what's the difference? If Trump's going to be talking with Musk and allowing Musk to guide his decisions. Again, remember, Musk is the one who first talked about this today. It was only after Musk spoke up did Donald Trump and J.D. Vance hop on board. And then there was a press conference with MTG old 6B, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Large Marge. There was that today, and in her press conference that she gave, she basically gave credit not to Trump, but to Musk. So how many of these people have sworn fealty to Musk as well as to Trump? Or is that the same thing at this point? And Musk says, Elon Facts posts, for any given government expenditure, we have to say, what does this do for the citizens of America? If it's not being spent in a way that's beneficial to the American people, it's a misuse of the funds. Well, sure, but they never talk like that when it comes to, refusing to pay for tanks and airplanes that the military doesn't want. The military says, I don't want this fighter jet, and our Congress goes, well, we have to pay back the military-industrial complex who have contributed to our political campaigns, and as such, we're going to build whatever you don't want us to build because it's going to help those people get more money and get more rich, acquire more wealth. So, again, why increase the debt ceiling now? Could it maybe be, and maybe this is a little bit conspiracy theory-ish, could it maybe be that Elon Musk is anticipating that a Donald Trump presidency and a Donald Trump administration, the Trump-Vance administration, will be more likely to want to spend government money on things that are owned by Elon Musk, and as such, he doesn't want the American government budgetary restrictions to stand in the way of his making a whole crap ton of money, and as such, he's going to, without a debt ceiling or with an increased debt ceiling, he'll be able to be like, look, there's no limit on our spending at this point, or our spending is now our spending capabilities have increased because of an increased debt ceiling, and now we can pay Elon Musk more for things like SpaceX and for his more rockets and more. Maybe they'll move to getting more government vehicles that are Teslas instead of other types of vehicles, using government expenditures, and it'll all be under the name of government efficiency. Elon Musk will probably be like, and this is maybe a bold prediction, I don't know, Elon Musk will probably be like, one of the things that we could do as the Department of Government Efficiency is we should stop buying vehicles from all different sources of all different makes and models and etc. We should restrict the type of vehicle that the U.S. government buys to one type of vehicle or one brand of vehicle. That way you could buy in bulk and save money. And then what will happen? And then he'll be like, oh, and I've just designed, or the folks at Tesla has just defined or designed the Tesla government, or the new Tesla models that'll be used by people who are in government to enable them to all have the same looking ugly vehicles like the Cybertruck. And then he'll be able to funnel all this money from the federal government directly to his own pockets in the name of, quote, efficiency. It's not a department, but it's efficiency. So what do you think? I mean, I haven't made this a little video, but do you think that's crazy talk? Or do you think it's just plausible to be potentially something that might happen in the future with a Trump presidency, with Elon Musk pushing his Doge fake committee, fake department, whatever it is? So, I don't know. I think it's just one of many things that we should be concerned about if they are in such a hurry to increase the debt ceiling now, because it tells me that the people or the experts were thinking that they were going to be able to wait maybe 6 months to have this debate to determine how much we should raise the debt ceiling from. If you want it done now, to me that's saying that Donald Trump is intending on spending way more money than Biden is spending to do all the things that Trump wants to do. Part of that could very well be funding new Teslas and buying government Teslas instead of buying government Suburbans and government this and government that or government whatever. Instead of the government buying from all these different vehicle makes, models, whatever, just buy Teslas, and then that makes Elon Musk even richer, even more wealthy. But maybe there's more. Maybe there's more to it than that. Do we now think, what is Donald Trump going to try and spend a whole bunch of money to build more of his vanity wall? Or is he going to need that money to start building his concentration camps that Roger Stone suggested that we should be building to house the undocumented migrants who are here seeking asylum and or for other reasons? Maybe he wants to build those things really quickly, and in order to build them really quickly, he's going to have to spend a lot of money to have them built really quickly. And maybe that's why he needs the debt ceiling increase, because in order to do all of the nefarious things that he's telling us that he's going to do, like mass deportations and not caring about separating families, not caring about, who it is that he actually separates. He didn't worry about who was harmed with his Muslim ban, be it the one he campaigned on or the one that he implemented, with bans of travel from certain Muslim countries, which stopped people who were legally here from getting back here, just because they were maybe visiting family. All these things are going to cost a bunch of money, and if he wants to get it all done ahead of time, at the beginning of his term, there's going to be a mad rush to do all this spending. He's going to need a higher debt ceiling. There should be no rush for this, for the debt ceiling. Again, if you would have one. Again, it's my opinion that you shouldn't need one because the Constitution makes it unnecessary. But if you're going to have one, it makes me question why Trump needs this done so urgently, especially when including a debt ceiling was nothing that either side was talking about in Congress. So, anyway. What other companies might Elon Musk decide that he's going to acquire or start or whatever, so that he can take advantage of his new position as co-head of the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency? So childish. Maybe he's going to try and involve himself into other industries to make sure that he can make even more money and become the world's first real trillionaire even more quickly. So let's see let's scroll back or second. See, Big Hook, Biden is going to give Ukraine everything he can before he leaves office, and continuing resolution as funding for Ukraine as well. Probably, and that's the thing, is that you have these I wish I could have had this show downloaded before, because I was listening to Jeff Crouer's evening show, and his evening show on Wednesdays, maybe that's why I couldn't find it, because it was under the wrong thing. Ooh, maybe that's something I should consider. Because the show normally is just called Ringside Politics Evenings, but maybe it was not Ringside Politics Evenings. Maybe, just maybe, it's under his He Said, She Said, which is the name of his show. It's called He Said, She Said, with him and his wife, Mimi Crouer. We've talked about Mimi Crouer on the past as well. Mimi Crouer is somebody who is a huge vaccine denier, huge conspiracy theorist, you're not supposed to throw political post things off of Mardi Gras floats or whatever. There it is. I was stupid. We can download it and do a reaction to it. Huzzah. Save link as. Only thing I'm gonna have to worry about is anything that might be copyrightable. So I'm going to have to skip over some of the stuff that he might play as he goes to commercial breaks, because he plays copyrightable music or whatever during his bumpers. But we'll get to this one in a second. I'm happy I had that euphoria, the eureka moment, so to speak, trying to figure out what it is. Because, that's one of the things they talked about on that show is complaining about Mitch McConnell. Because they don't like Mitch McConnell, even though he's a horrible, terrible person, because he doesn't side enough with Donald Trump, and he thinks that supporting Ukrainians is a bad thing because these people are pro-Putin. Let's see, isn't Matt Gaetz getting a show on OAN or something? He needs to be in jail. Yes, Matt Gaetz, I think, did announce today that he is also getting a show on OAN or OANN or One American News Network or whatever it's called. It's got to be a better acronym for that. Because they're terrible. Yeah, I played the wrong one earlier. That's unfortunate. Let's see. Open. Go to downloads. Try and figure this out. Why is this not doing it right? There we go. Huzzah. Anyway, so we'll do a little bit of reaction. We won't necessarily react to the whole show, but we'll react to some of it, because It's freaking hilarious just how horrible they are. Let's see, too many of my favorite channels, Kimchi says on Wednesday nights. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you chose me instead of the other folks. Do appreciate giving the other folks some listens too as well. I think we have lost people to like Tommy or whatever, but that's fine. Like I haven't seen Nerd Misha here in a hot minute. Whatever, you know, it's fine. So as much as those guys cheated in the past, why are we not questioning their win this time? It seems like we're just laying down and letting it happen without checking. Oh, I did previously talk about that on the show. I did previously talk about how there are people who have suggested that there was cheating that went on, that the vote counts don't make sense, and that we should be doing an audit of everything that's going on, you know, and at least auditing certain voting machines versus what the actual count is to see, are they correct? Are they not correct? And if they're not correct, why are they not correct? So we should absolutely be doing that, but we're not, because unfortunately Democrats often will lay down and just let it lay, which is sad but true. I mean, nobody here, I mean, I'm not just saying that we should go storm the Capitol like the J6 insurrectionists did. We didn't do that in the year 2000 when it was clear that the election was stolen. I mean, that was a stolen election, clearly, absolutely clearly stolen election, but we won't do it. We'll too often lay down and be passive about it, and we should definitely be more aggressive about it. We should have definitely said something. Now, who knows what might happen in the next month or so? Will the congressional Democrats try and bring up the fact that Donald Trump is not a legitimate candidate because he committed an act of insurrection and as such is not qualified to be president of the United States, and therefore you shouldn't count his electoral votes as being accurate or correct? I don't know. Maybe that's the plan, and maybe they're just not saying anything about it because they want to blindside the Republicans. But not that it's gonna help, because you don't have enough votes in Congress to be able to do that, because you're not going to have enough Republicans in Congress who might realize, hey, this is our way out. Let's do this and get rid of him from the political sphere for good by making sure that he doesn't take office. But I don't actually expect it to happen, because we don't do enough to stand up against the Republican shenanigans and their minority rule, because that's what they are. They're a minority ruling party. Let's see, Kimchi, I'm forced to do things around the house or watch funny animal videos. I don't understand the meaning of miniature cows. See, Musk threatening to finance primaries against those who are against Trump is awful, considering he isn't a part of government. Yeah, I mean, he's not officially, he's just in an the whole Doge thing is an advisory role, so it's not really a department of government, so that's why he could probably get away with doing that BS. But here's the thing. He also knows that the Supreme Court is going to side on the side of Donald Trump, and as such, he can do probably whatever the hell he feels like doing. So, Mad Mac, make that vehicle a Chevy. Oh, but that doesn't make Elon Musk any more money now, does it? Yes, the Cybertruck is god awful. The Department of Government, it should be affluence, not influence, but affluence. See, I had a cousin, she raised one as a dog, stayed in the yard. Damn thing has tried to get in my truck when it was near full grown. That's hilarious. Boo. Let's keep on scrolling. I think we're done. See, dude is relying on TikTok income, so hopefully SCOTUS blocks the ban. Be interesting. I mean, I know there are people here who on both sides of the fence on TikTok. I know Hal hates TikTok. The reason TikTok is malware in and of itself, simply because of the fact that the way that the algorithms work, it kind of puts bad things in front of you that you might not want to see. But I use TikTok as a tool and nothing else. It's a tool. It's an easy tool to make quick videos to spit out there. Then I can quickly upload those videos from my phone to YouTube and do it that way. So Big Hook, Christmas Eve release of Matt Gaetz report. It's a Christmas miracle. God bless us, everyone. Good night, impeccable living. You have a good one.
Oh my.
There you go. Jeff, Elon is a part of government for now. But, I mean, sort of, but he's not. He's not officially. Like, him and Vivek are going to do his little non-efficiency thing, but it's not like a cabinet level post. He doesn't need to have, anybody approve. Congress doesn't need to approve of it. It doesn't have to, it's not a part of, spending or whatever. I don't think that's going to spend any money. I think they're going to be advising ways to make government more efficient, which again, my prediction is that making government more efficient is going to be streamlining the ways that Elon Musk can get more money from the government than ever before. So, let's see. I heard they have suspended making more Cybertrucks due to lack of sales. Well, one can only hope. But that's another thing. So the reason why Elon Musk probably be like, well, that's why I need government to start buying Cybertrucks for me, so we can have more government Cybertrucks. What's going on, Janelle? Good to see you. Or hey, Janelle, if I hadn't said hello yet. Hey, Surrender Monkey. Somebody demanded I came here. I forgot who, because I'm afraid of any retribution you liberally apply to the situation. What? I don't know what that means, but I'm happy you're here, Surrender Monkey. See, the algorithm is addictive, but the real question is the malware component threat that needs to be revealed. Well, true, but that's the thing. Is it really malware in that it's stealing stuff from your phone? Because I have somebody, family friends of ours. He is a much better cybersecurity expert than I am, and he has absolutely forbade his family to use Temu or Temu, or however you pronounce it. He has forbade his family from using Temu, but he has no problem with them using TikTok. So, to me, that says that the malware portion of it is just the sort of as the conservatives would say, the psyop part of it, them actually, trying to manipulate what information you see to give you bad information. That's the part of it. That's the malware part of it. It's not necessarily the fact that it is doing something bad to your computer and stealing your information in at least a way that other companies don't, or more than what other companies do. So there's that, and there's also the fact that, again, every year at work we have like cybersecurity and how to make sure that we don't get phishing attacks, and how to make sure we're not spearphished or any of the other different ways that bad users can try and penetrate their way into the company and steal all of the good data that they might want to steal. And the person at the end of one of these videos said, you could follow me more on TikTok. So if there's a cybersecurity expert who's saying that who's using TikTok, that to me says that it must not be bad software-wise, it's just bad algorithm-wise, so to speak. So I think Kimchi was talking about Tommy, i.e. dude. Because Tommy needs TikTok, because Elon needs Twitter income. Dude, I think, relies currently more on TikTok income, although once they announced that they were going to be banning TikTok, dude did try and expand out. He had a Patreon now, just like me, and he expanded out to YouTube, and he had a big enough following on TikTok so that he could get monetized pretty much in a month. As long as he got the views that he needed to get the views, he had more than enough people subscribe to the channel. So I think he's at he's at least 3,000 subscribers right now. So I mean, good for him. I like Tommy. I think dude does a great job, and he's one of the only 3 people that I know of, including myself, that ever talked about the whole Donald Trump tanking gas prices thing, or Donald Trump causing gas prices to increase because of his shitty deal. But let's see, if Impeccable Living is getting their own drop, I'm demanding Myers. If it's not Scottish, it's crap for me. All right, I'll do that for you. I'll find that and put it on the next soundboard that because I'm probably not going to use that one. But absolutely, until then I can do my Scottish accent myself. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Because there's I've talked about the difference between an Irish accent and a Scottish accent. Is if you're from Ireland, you sound like this, and your voice is kind of more toned down. Actually, that's more of a Dublin accent, I think. The the one from Belfast, they a little bit deeper and they pronounce their T's a little harsher. But if you're from Scotland, you sound like you have to take a wee crap. So yeah. So that's my imitation. And I actually did that for some British travelers who were traveling in my Uber one day, and they're like, that's not bad. And then one time, again, Thursdays next month, I mean, does this affect anything that I stream about, but Thursdays next month I'm going to do my writing class again, which means I actually have to write some more of my story. Anyway, excuse me. So the person who runs the class is an Irish person, and there was one time where we were talking about, we were in a crowded bar, and I forget what it is that Steven said, but he was like, Bill, blah, 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 blah. And Bill was like, what did you say? And I'm like, he said, and then I said what he said in an Irish accent, and Steven's like, that was pretty good. One of the funny things is that Steven, the author who runs the class, he can say parrot, and he'll say pirate, but in his accent it's parrot. Parrot and parrot. Same pronunciation, two different spellings of two completely different words. And it's kind of hard to say. It's like, when he says that, it's like, are you talking about the bird, or are you talking about the seafaring scallywags? Kimchi, shh, I didn't know Surrender was here. What's going on? Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting the wascally wabbit. Sorry. The USA considering a ban on China's TP-Link maker of Wi-Fi routers. That's interesting. Thank you, Jolie, for sharing the link for the Patreon page, patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way gets you there. Again, to support the show, remember to like the stream, share the stream, share other videos, like other videos, comment on other videos, get the algorithm up, because as we know, Algor needs more rhythm. While we do, the Patreon shirts, we now have the Cricut set aside and set up, so hopefully we can get the t-shirts made for all these people that I owe t-shirts to, sooner rather than later. However, there will be, in some time early in the next year, hopefully, there will be an opportunity for you to buy Liberal Dan t-shirts directly from a t-shirt manufacturer. And there you go. And so we're going to be selling Liberal Dan t-shirts in the new year. We'll be getting a little bit of money off of each sale. So there you go. Hey, it's TV2. Good to see you. Thank you for the compliment too. Appreciate it. I'm losing a little bit of weight. We'll see how much more comes off soon, but whatever. Never ask a Scot to say purple. Apparently we sound odd. Purple? I mean, it does sound like, when I'm doing my streams, there's two Scottish characters, in Disney Dreamlight Valley. There's Scrooge McDuck and there's Merida, and so when they talk, I start talking like a Scotsman, or I guess a Scotswoman, so to speak. If you know, you know. All right. Well, here's a good way that I can actually figure out. Let me turn off the audio so you can't hear it, and that way I won't get the "I got you, babe" that he starts the show with. There we go. It's funny because they start off the show with "I got you, babe," and let's see. They start off the show with "I got you, babe," and every time I hear "I got you, babe," and every time I hear "I got you, babe," I hear the Beavis and Butthead version of "I've got you, babe." It's like, you've got me and Butthead, I've got you, babe. It's hilarious. Let's see. Alright, so here we go. I've found the part without having to worry about being copyrighted. So we're going to just play and pause and everything as we go. Let's see. Softly, softly, catchy monkey. What? I don't know. Anywho, so let's go. This is we're gonna play some of the clips, some of the show that I was listening to as I was trying to get my kids some food tonight. Again, this is called He Shed, She Shed. She sells seashells by the seashore. he said, she said. It's Jeff and his wife Mimi. As I was talking about, we've talked about Jeff Guerrero before. We've played Jeff Guerrero's clips before. We also, I've also mentioned Mimi before as well. Mimi Carrera is the one that one time on the show I mentioned that the Second Amendment says that it says a well-regulated militia, and she told me, or she specifically said that there's no word regulated in the Constitution, and I just died laughing. And you could even hear him laughing in the background because he knew that he would be able to read the wording, and she was just like, whatever. She didn't even want to admit that she was wrong, but she was also, again, you're not allowed to throw political throws off of Mardi Gras floats, especially in Orleans Parish. And when they were taking down the Lee statue monument on Lee Circle, which is now Tivoli Circle, which is the original name of the circle in St. Charles and other streets that are in downtown New Orleans, and she was throwing like beads or cups or whatever it was to save Robert E. Lee, and yeah, I think she got kicked off the crew for that because she violated the law. What's up, Marie? Good to see you. See, the question is, with quantum computing coming soon, how much good will encryption be, and who has access to it, and how much privacy would be lost? That is a good question. I don't, quantum computing is much faster, and if it's that much faster, then it may very well be able to hack certain things that previously were deemed unhackable. So we'll have to see how that happens, and again, we'll have to also see, will the everyday schmo have access to it? Will it only be available in government, or will it be strictly regulated because of the fact that it can break encryption so easily? And even if it can break encryption so easily and is only used by government, then you have nothing that's secure from government if that is the case. But we can do shows on that later. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and... That's weird. I'm looking at my Twitch stream, and it says the session's only 40 minutes. I'm like, I've been going for an hour. What the hell? Anyway, so here is a Jeff Carrera and Mimi, their conversation. We'll stop at opportune moments to be able to hear the horrible things that they have to say and comment on them. So here we go.
Looks like our speaker, Mike Johnson, is doing his best John Boehner and Paul Ryan imitation.
He was on Fox and Friends this morning, and I have to give it to the host because they were kind of hard on him, and they should be.
She said hard on.
This is basically what it is. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to let the Democrats vote this in, and then Trump is going to come in 3 months, and then he'll get everything. No.
Trump will come in. No, he's not coming in 3 months. It's like 40 days. It's almost 30 days at this point. Ugh, shudder. So apparently math is not something that Mimi Carrera is good at. Let's continue.
No, Johnson. And let me just tell you, this guy, I don't know what happened, but they bribed him. They got the goods on that man because the way he's acting, don't be going around to every football game and every UFC fight and acting all chummy with President Trump, okay, like you're part of the Avenger team, and then you get down there.
The Avenger team? If anything, they're Hydra. She doesn't know anything about the comic books either, apparently. Let's continue.
And then you get down there, and you, capitulate to, Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who can't stop talking like this. Can Hakeem run words together in a full phrase? I'm so tired of it. Do you know what's in this thing?
I mean, she has no room to talk. She's supporting Captain Confetti over here, complaining about how Democrats are talking, the way in which they talk. I mean, come on. But apparently she's not good at math either when it comes to this, because there's not a very big majority in the House, and the majority in the House is going to get even smaller once several members of the House leave to go and be a part of the Trump administration. So Speaker Johnson, for all of his flaws, and believe me, there's a lot of flaws, is probably trying to do whatever it is he can do to get something passed so the government doesn't shut the frick down. Because while Republicans don't know how to lead, some of them maybe try at some point to do something that's maybe leading adjacent, like the LaCroix of leadership, like like the essence of leadership, or the concept of leadership, if not leadership in and of itself. To actually, they let the flavor of leadership, maybe kind of sprinkle over them to try and do something. But then you have the rest of the Republicans who don't want to lead at all. They just want to be chaos agents and want to do my way or the highway. And when you have a slim majority in both houses, that's not how it works.
They're giving themselves a 40% raise.
Yeah,
Now, I understand, Cola.
$68,000. It's disgusting.
Now, okay, I will agree with Jeff and Mimi on that. Congress giving themselves a $68,000 raise is ridiculous and shouldn't happen. Period. End of story. Fine. Stop the clocks, write twice a day. Here we go. Let's move on.
Disgusting.
Yeah, for some people, that is what they make in a year. If that.
Right.
They are going to fund, get this, people, try not to crash your car when you're driving, 12 bioweapon labs, 12, no less than, it says in there. They have to do at least 12. At least 12.
Now, what she's calling a bioweapon lab, I haven't had the time to much fact check this much, if at all. Continuing resolution, bioweapon labs. So there should be a Snopes on that or whatever. Here we go, Mediate. Musk blatantly sends false tweet. Again, this is why I'm saying, or asking, is Elon Musk the de facto president? Because these people are following Musk's lead and not necessarily Trump's lead. And Trump is following Musk's lead and the lead of other quack and kooks, whatever, like, RFK Jr. Musk sends blatantly false tweet about bioweapon labs that is reposted more than 30,000 times. The company's CEO, Linda Yacchino, likes to say it all happens on X, including plenty false claims by ex-owner Elon Musk. There's been data that shows that the most fact-checked, the most incorrect account on X is Elon Musk's himself. Wednesday, the notorious Libs of TikTok account shared a screenshot of a continuing resolution introduced by Mike Johnson from Louisiana that would avert a government shutdown. Musk railed against the bill, as has President Trump. Trying to open up this, but it won't. There we go. It just was pausing a quick second. Open a new tab. Screenshot contains a small portion of the bill that reads Section 629, Regional Biocontainment Research Laboratories. In general, the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall make awards to establish or maintain, as applicable, not fewer than 12 regional biocontainment laboratories for the purpose of conducting biomedical research to support public health and medical preparedness for rapid response to biological agents, including emerging infectious diseases. Libs of TikTok account stated breaking new congressional resolution includes funding for at least 12 biolabs. Musk quote tweeted the quote and offered the following English to Elonese translation: "We are funding bioweapon labs in this bill." But the text he refers to says nothing about bioweapons. As Politico noted, the provision is part of a long-sought reauthorization of the Pandemic and All Hazards Preparedness and Response Act. Moreover, the U.S. is a signatory to the Biological Weapons Convention. The treaty, which went into effect in 1975, prohibits states from developing, acquiring, using, or transferring bioweapons. As of this writing, Musk's post has gone viral and has been retweeted more than 30,000 times. Musk has inserted himself into public discourse, blah, 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 co-chair of Doge, nod to the worthless meme coin Musk has promoted. The group seemingly acts as some sort of advisory commission on federal expenditures, etc. So yes, it went from biolabs to bioweapons lab because Elon Musk, again, is an idiot. So what does that make Mimi Carrere? I mean, besides the, poor choice in husband? And of course, yeah, what's up, Trucker John? I forgot to say, hey, Trucker John. What's up, Trucker John? It's a big hook. I use VPN for everything that worries me, as privacy is important to me on my computing activities, if you know what I mean. It should be worrisome to everybody. I don't want people being able to hack and see what I'm doing in my private life. I mean, it's all legal, but, still none of their business. Let's continue.
Which is going to bring me to the point of why we have a dead, assassinated Russian general in Russia.
A dead Russian general in Russia. Where's the Russian general going to be dead? Is it going to be in, China? North Korea? I mean, maybe if he was actively had a campaign in Ukraine, but we know that's not happening. But again, here's more conservatives caring more about Russian leaders than they are about American leaders.
Because he knew about the bioweapon labs. He knew that we built those labs. He knew. And he had the papers to prove it. He knew. And they assassinated him because he knew that we created COVID. Okay, back to the budget.
He knew we created COVID. Bioweapons labs, he knew we created COVID. Again, this is how insane these conspiracy theorists are.
The other thing, let's see what they do. Gave himself the raise. They did the lab. What's the other big thing?
They can't keep
Do you
the
remember,
conspiracy
Jeff,
theories correct.
the other horrible
Oh, I mean,
thing
there's
they did?
lots. I mean, there's lots of horrible stuff in there. I mean, you've got funding for NewsGuard, an entity that takes down conservative information.
Again,
the
down
Liz Cheney thing. The list.
It probably takes down false information. Doesn't mean it's conservative. I mean, there's probably a high correlation.
He said the bill would make it
between
easier
that.
to hide the records of the corrupt J6 committee, which accomplished nothing for the American people and hid security failures that happened.
That's J.D. Vance's quote that we read already.
Records. So all this does is protect them because they know they destroyed the records.
Right.
Yeah, she thinks that the J6 committee destroyed the records, and therefore this is going to protect them if they did in fact do that. I'm sure they didn't do that at all. I'm sure they preserved whatever it is that legally needed to be preserved. Probably want to preserve it away from Trump so that he can't get rid of the records, because Donald Trump, if anybody, is going to be the one that wants to destroy all the records, because he doesn't want people knowing the exact truth of what it is he did and what it is his supporters did and how he supported his supporters in attacking the Capitol whilst he threw ketchup against the wall.
They destroyed the records, and now they got a CYA covering themselves so they don't have to say they destroyed the records. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, Dick Cheney was probably on the phone threatening everybody's lives, literally.
Dick Cheney is remember when they loved Dick Cheney? Remember when they used to love Big Dick Cheney? Used to be a supporter of his, had no problem with the fact that he was the vice president, had no problem with the fact that he is linked to Halliburton directly. That they gave Halliburton no bid contracts to operate in post-war Iraq, and as such he probably made much money, and they had no problem with Dick Cheney more profiteering after the war back then. No problem with that. But now they don't like Dick Cheney because Dick Cheney dared said, okay, Donald Trump is a line too far. Jeff Curry, Jolie took mom shopping yesterday. On way back, she debated stopping at Uranus to get some fudge. Yep. Jolie, did you not think about Dan? Yes, please think about me. I'm seeing that the sound is going through Ichabod Deer. Is anybody else having a sound issue? I don't know. We'll see. Let's continue.
We need to
Rand
stop telling
Paul-
them who we're going to go after. Stop telling them who we're going to go after.
Yeah.
Because this is what they're doing. They
Here's
shove
what-
everything up in there because they don't want to go to jail.
Good to hear.
Rand
Good to hear. It
Paul
wasn't
said
my
the
problem.
CR is, quote, full of pork. He says it.
Rand Paul says the CR is full of pork. You know what pork is? The definition of pork in reality, it's spending in other people's district. Because when it's spending in your own district or your own state, if you're a senator, that is necessary government funding. Let's continue.
And here's the controversial item that I was talking about. It's a one-year extension of the State Department's Global Engagement Center, which contributes to conservative censorship. So,
Let's see. What is the Global Engagement Center, which contributes to conservative censorship? Global Engagement Center. Let's see what this is. Mission: to direct, lead, synchronize, integrate, and coordinate U.S. federal government efforts to recognize, understand, expose, and counter foreign state. Let's see. Let's continue again because we're waiting for it to load. Probably foreign state misinformation, foreign state propaganda, foreign state what? Foreign state and non-state propaganda and disinformation efforts aimed at undermining or influencing the policies and security stability of the United States, its allies, and partner nations. Vision: to be a data-driven body leading U.S. interagency efforts on proactively addressing the foreign adversaries' attempts to undermine U.S. interests and using disinformation and propaganda. So that, to them, is conservative censorship. If censoring Russia if making sure that Russia can't spread disinformation in the United States, if that's conservative censorship, then hey, you've just clearly said the quiet part out loud. Thank you, Jeff, for admitting that conservative propaganda or conservative talk is just Russian propaganda. Appreciate it, Jeff. Good job. Come on, let's press play.
And they're jamming it through without the required time to read it, so nobody's going to know what it is.
So jamming it down our throats.
Elon and Vivek read it in less than 24 hours.
Elon and Vivek didn't read it, especially if Elon thinks that it was a bioweapons lab instead of just a bio laboratory to help deal with things like pandemics. You know, because President Obama had it all set up to be able to make sure that we could respond to any potential pandemic that might happen, and Donald Trump said, "No, we don't need that." Got rid of it, and that was the first part. That was part 0 of his mishandling of the pandemic, even before the pandemic took place.
No, but it's okay. But they know he read it. Listen, the program from Fox came on during the.
They know he read it. He has nothing to do with Reddit. He's Twitter, not Reddit. Let's continue.
And 5 p.m. And he said that Elon posted not that long ago that he would primary. They have to lose their jobs. Okay, it's just too much. They keep spending. It's never going to stop. He said it turned the Capitol upside down. Turn that Capitol upside down. All the rest.
You know why Donald Trump wants to turn the Capitol upside down? Because he wants to shake it and have all the loose change fall out so he can profit from it.
What does a billionaire get to say? He's just a regular person posting like anybody else on a.
Yeah, he's just a regular person posting like everybody else, except he controls the algorithms and he controls what people can see and can't see, and he makes, they're changing the algorithm, what people are going to see, and I have no faith in my mind that this is going to be anything that's going to be helpful or beneficial to anybody who's using Twitter, unless you just want to continue being a recipient of Russian propaganda.
On a social media platform, it just so happens that people follow his page. Now, if you get that kind of sway, it doesn't matter he's a billionaire. He's just a popular guy that everybody seems to like.
Everybody seems to like. Yeah, no, I don't like him. And a lot of people don't like him either. But, everybody. Again, more conservative problems with math. They don't like math. They can't seem to... They still think that Trump has a mandate. He won by a narrow margin of the popular vote. He won with less electoral college votes than Obama, clearly, and they never thought that Obama had a mandate. I mean, I'll point back. You know what a mandate? Reagan. Unfortunately, he got a huge mandate. He won, 49 states in 84, with the exception of, was it Montana? Yeah. Reagan had a mandate. Even then, I think he only had, 58% of the popular vote? But he still won 49 states.
Okay, that's how we got.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's how we got to that status, and they're all freaking out over the Capitol because they think it's not fair that the American people are actually going to hold their feet to the fire. They think it's not fair. Oh, you can't. Every time I pass a bill now, I have to worry about my job. Yes, you idiot! It should have been this way the whole time.
Our talk line, yeah. Our talk line 504-556-9696.
Dole won Minnesota. That was Mondale that won Minnesota.
Mike Johnson, Louisiana member of Congress and speaker. And, somebody could have run against him when he came before the voters because he was not. Well,
why would the Republicans, I don't know why Republicans are able to be so successful, because they're always willing to shoot themselves in the foot. Like, back in the day, before David Vitter became congressperson from the 1st Congressional District in Louisiana, you had the previous person who was going to be Speaker of the House. I don't remember what his name is off the top of my head. I used to know it by heart. I don't remember it at this point. But he was the former 1st Congressional District representative for the state of Louisiana. He was in line to be Speaker of the House until Larry Flynt uncovered the fact that he had an affair, and as such he had to quit. and he resigned. So Louisiana lost its opportunity to have the person leading the entire House and be third away or second in line to the presidency after the vice president. And now we have it again, and it's actually in this. And now I don't want to see, by any stretch of the imagination, I don't want to see Speaker Johnson become president. I don't like the fact that we have. I would much rather see Hakeem Jeffries be Speaker of the House than frickin' Johnson. But why are Louisiana Republicans going to want to primary somebody who is the frickin' Speaker of the House? They're going to go after Scalise next because he's second in line in the Republican Party. It's absurd. Absurdity.
And this is the thing. When you're in power, they're not going to vote you out. So he's the speaker, okay? Same with Scalise. He's got power. We're never going to vote him out. And I hate it. I can't remember the last thing Scalise did.
It's got to happen.
Oh, I know
it has happened on rare occasions. You had a very powerful guy named...
She said, I can't remember. Now, I missed some of this because I was waiting in line to pick up my kid's food and I had to turn it off to speak to people. What was the last thing Scalise did? What is she going to say? He got shot? Is that the deplorable thing that she's going to say, that he got shot?
Who did get voted out in the House Republican caucus. He was one of the top 3 leaders. So it can happen. It's very rare, but it can happen. And I got an email from somebody today who's talking about running against him. I'm like, start now.
The person, I don't know who the person is that he's saying that's going to run against Speaker Johnson, but there's no way he's going to win. None whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unforgivable. And, you know, I feel like, well, Scalise literally was almost assassinated. So you're kind of like, okay, dude, you get to I think that's your get out of jail free card for the rest of your life. But, you know, it's just they can't keep doing this. Does anybody in Louisiana...
She brought up the shooting. I mean, I don't know if she said that's the last thing he did, but she did bring up the shooting. Crazy. Crazy how predictable they are.
We have the leaders in our state. I don't see New Orleans getting special funding to fix anything. You know, if we don't have a Super Bowl here every year, we don't get anything to fix. We don't get any money to fix it.
Yeah, Elon Musk is
and they
saying
won't fix it.
Elon Musk is saying that this bill is dead.
And now in New Orleans, speaking of New Orleans, and yes, they are doing a lot of road work on the main streets that lead to the Superdome, but there's been some buildings that are collapsing, that are mid-collapse in New Orleans. It's not a very good thing. It's been a little terrifying if you live downtown or work downtown for a little bit.
And that's a good thing. I mean, that's a good thing. So, you know, he led the charge. This guy is a powerful tool for the Trump administration. I mean, and for our movement. And
yeah, well, Jeff Kerr is absolutely right. Elon Musk is a tool.
You know, for his Department of Government Efficiency. I mean, he has got tremendous influence, and, you know, kudos to him for...
He has influence because he's a billionaire, because he inherited money from his parents, and he took over other people's businesses and was able to profit off of it, and is now going to profit more off of our government. But, you know, and he's an enormous tool.
Here's what was in the bill also. $60 billion to Ukraine, unconstitutional force of courts to protect Congress, past and future blanket immunity for the deep state, unconstitutional emergency powers, mask and vaccine mandates, gain-of-function research, vaccine passports.
I guarantee you that so-called gain-of-function research was not in that. Let's look that up. Continuing resolution, gain-of-function research. Of course, they're obsessed with masking and vaccines because, you know, they're ridiculous. CBS News. Oh, CBS News says, what was in the thing? There's nothing with gain. Show results with gain. That's 2023. That's 2022. There's nothing that I'm seeing that has anything about gain-of-function research in this. I'm going to have it looked at the entirety of the bill to see what it is. We can also, I guess we could look that up too. Continuing budget resolution. 2024 text. Is this the right one? I believe it is, potentially. I don't know. That might not be the one. That's just the summary. Okay. That's the summary. Let's do a search for gain, shall we? What does that mean? That means I had no hits for gain on that text, so I guarantee you he's wrong yet again.
So, there you go.
They're still trying to kill us. They're still trying to kill us with these made-up. I think Governor Newsom, I read today, has declared a state of emergency for the bird flu.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because there's actually been a transmission of somebody in Louisiana who has had actually transmission of bird flu from like dead birds on his property to him. Now he might have had other issues and other susceptibility, but yeah, bird flu is a serious issue. But again, this is the problem. This is why Donald Trump was such a danger to this country. And one of the lasting effects of Donald Trump and his mismanagement of the pandemic was simply the fact that he basically made all of his followers believe in this garbage that vaccines are horrible, that we should be scared of anything the government tells us to do, or we shouldn't listen to anything the government tells us to do when it comes to, you know, masking and wearing, taking vaccines and socially distancing or what have you. I saw on Facebook the other day something that basically said, look, what we really need is a really threatening pandemic with we need a really threatening pandemic with a 100% foolproof, works 100% of the time vaccine. I mean, because that way the people who are going to listen to the scientists and take the vaccine will take the vaccine and be protected, and then all these wackadoodles will enter the find out stage once they realize how horrible they are and how stupid they are for not listening to science experts on issues of science.
Up and down California, they're trying to do this again. I'm telling you, and a lot of people died because of not from the COVID. They died from the treatment of COVID.
They died from the treatment of COVID. Yeah, whatever.
And they had financial incentives to do it.
Yeah, there's financial incentives to kill people, dummy.
And now,
I mean, I don't agree with Jeff Carrera a lot. I'm just baffled that he thought this person was somebody who's worthy of marriage. Holy crap. She's terrible.
And now I have a child with an autoimmune disease, okay?
Your child with your autoimmune disease probably had an autoimmune disease prior to the pandemic. And the issues with the pandemic probably made your child susceptible because of the autoimmune disease, and therefore they were more at risk, and you put your child at risk because you refused to do things like get vaccines and mask up and socially distance because you're a moron, and you put your own family at risk.
Mother whose breathing is shallow. I have a stepfather who had a heart condition. It's ridiculous, and you can't. And I couldn't tell any of them except for my mother not to take that shot.
I guarantee you, if they would have taken the shot, they probably would have been worse off. Most likely.
Yeah.
Because of the brainwashing that they did.
Them talking about brainwashing. That's hilarious. Yes, exactly, Allison. I was afraid. And one of the reasons we wanted to keep our kids home and do more distance learning once they were in school, once they let some people come back to school, is because the threat that the kids transmitting the disease to everybody, then bringing it home to my wife, who also has an autoimmune disease, would have been exasperated by that, and they were putting my wife at risk because they wanted the kids to go back early. And then the kids started going back earlier, and then they got the Delta variant, which kids were more susceptible to, and more kids were getting hospitalized because of the COVID, because of that. It's absurd.
Right? She didn't
She
take
did
the,
because everybody wants to go out, enjoy their lives,
right.
you know, and you're not going to have it. It's like, okay, so you can go out right now and enjoy your life. What happens next year when you drop dead?
Well, what happens if you go out and enjoy your life during COVID and you drop dead because you caught COVID and you died like an idiot?
Next year when you drop dead.
Some good news.
Die suddenly.
Speaker Johnson's favorability rating has plunged. So the American people.
Anyway, one of the other things that baffles me about them too, both of them, is that they rail against the treatments of how you treated COVID, and they would say some silly stuff like, if you're on a ventilators are killing people, they're putting people on ventilators who have COVID, and then they're dying because of the ventilators. No, this is like similar to the same arguments about vaccines and autism. No. Not at all. The people who are on ventilators are the people who are really, really sick. And some people who are on ventilators are saved from the ventilators because they need the ventilators and the ventilators help. And some people who go on the ventilators are so sick that the ventilators don't help. But their messed up heads, their brains that don't work whatsoever, will say that it was the ventilators that killed them and not the COVID that killed them. House and I was at work every day during the pandemic because it had to be. I wish I could have stayed home and not left the house. I 100% agree with you. I mean, once there was a little bit of time at the beginning of it, like when I was working at the office still. I actually was probably still working at the office when I caught COVID the first time because I didn't know I had COVID. And at some point I was like, I have to call in sick. I'm calling in sick. I have to go to the doctor right now. And that's when he said, you have a virus. It's not the flu, but you have a virus. And that's why I think it was COVID. But I mean, I had a locking office door. Nobody really bothered me. So I don't think I necessarily infected anybody. But yeah. And then they had to, at that place where that business was located, they had to nail the dispensers of antibacterial gel to the wall because people were stealing them. Bizarre.
Another piece of news that is disturbing, the ethics report on Matt Gaetz, ethics committee voted to release that.
Oh no.
And they're trying to play their games. Gaetz was never charged with anything, and believe me, if he would have committed a crime, you would have had the Biden DOJ prosecuting him to the fullest extent.
I mean, Donald Trump, committed crimes, and they waited their asses off to go after Trump to the full extent of the law. So I don't know what he's talking about there. But at least he's saying that if he committed a crime, that Biden administration would have gone after him. So what, if the Biden administration would have gone after him now, beforehand, they would have been like, it's just another witch hunt.
But they didn't. But this ethics report is chock full of innuendo and hearsay. And
how does he know what the ethics? How does Jeff Carrera know what the ethics report says? He just thinks it's full of innuendo and hearsay. That's what they want to do. They're going to muddy the water so that once we actually see it on Christmas Eve, we'll be able to, we'll have to, people will have doubt in their minds over what is in this because they're going to cast aspersions on what this committee came up with. Ignoring the fact that he used Nestor's Venmo account to try and pay for underage hookers or whatever it was, and pay for sex trafficking. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right?
No.
He was cursing up a storm on X today.
Gaetz?
Yeah. Complete with the F word. Okay.
Really?
So, oh yeah. And he's has every right to be upset. I think releasing this was strategic on purpose because they're going to try to come back with another charge, something different. That's because they wanted to release it. So anytime the government wants to do something so bad, it's wrong. Okay, they wanted everyone to take the shot. You just don't take the shot. Okay, they want you
to put seatbelts on, so don't wear a seatbelt, right? I mean, that's that kind of. I mean, I guarantee you that she probably doesn't wear a seatbelt specifically because government tells you it's best to wear a seatbelt. So she's like, well, if government tells me it's best to wear a seatbelt, I'm not going to wear a seatbelt because government's telling me to, and it must be a bad thing at that point, right? So stupid. Why are they so stupid? And that's the thing that gets me even more. They're that stupid, but yet they're still successful in politics. Yeah, Surrender Monkey. Yay, no. I don't know if I want to see. I don't care to see many people. Look, we don't body shame here. It doesn't mean I want to see it.
Really?
So, Oh yeah, and he's has every right to be upset. I think he ousted the speaker.
Yeah.
This is all because of that.
Yeah, here's what he posted. Someone suggested the following plan to me. 1, show up on January 3rd to Congress. 2, participate in the speaker election, since I was elected to the 119th Congress after all. 3, take the oath. 4, file a privilege motion to expose every Me Too settlement paid using public funds, even of former members. 5, resign and start my own OAN program at 9 p.m. Eastern on January 6, 2025.
Sounds like a great plan to me.
I mean, is it not ironic that he's starting his own program on OAN on January 6th? Is he going to call it the insurrection? The insurrection with Matt Gase live on OAN.
Yeah,
all
because
right.
a lot of them do the raping.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I must have skipped part of it. I think they were talking about the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to look into the people who and release information on who paid out people when it came to claims of sexual assault in Congress. I'm like, okay, again, another stopped clock moment where Marjorie Taylor Greene was a stopped clock and correct once in a day. I mean, she'll be surprised, I'm sure, by what was revealed by that. But listen, they do all the raping, according to Mimi. That's what they do, all the raping.
Yeah.
A lot of them get accused of stuff, so they're gross. Okay.
All right, hang on. We got to take a.
They're gross. Yes, they are gross, especially the people that you support. They are gross indeed. We don't need to play Jeff's commercials. Yeah, we don't need to play Jeff Carrera's commercials and advertise his silly people who support his silly show. Ooh, they have like some slow jams coming back from break from that one. Ooh, Jeff Carrera and Mimi Carrera live on WGSO 990 AM. Get groovy with it. You can't. I don't want to play it because I don't want to get copyright violated, but still. Let's see. Let's unmute it again so we don't have to hear. Since we're past the commercials. I know that feeling. My oldest is 26. I can't believe it. My oldest just turned 16 and I can't believe it. I feel very old when my oldest because my oldest has now turned 16. Ugh. 2.5 years away from college.
Got looks like some. I'm Mimi Carrera, and I got looks like some breaking news.
Did you really have to announce her name again? We all know you're Mimi Carrera.
Breaking news.
I didn't even know this, but apparently Louisiana has a bird flu problem now.
Wait, so she didn't know this. I'm sure there's a lot that falls under that umbrella. Things that Mimi Carrera doesn't know. I think we might have a shorter time listing things that Mimi Carrera does know.
Along with Wisconsin and California. And Dr. Fauci, Frankenstein, is out there saying that now the bird flu can jump from humans, it's amazing, to pigs and cows and chickens. And then guess what they're going to do? They're going to roll out their fake meat that they made in a lab. They're going to roll out all this stuff.
So wait, so we went from there's the bird flu, and she doesn't believe that there's cross-species transmission can happen or because of mutations, and now she's linking it to fake meat, lab-grown meat. What?
They hate us.
Mm-hmm.
They hate us.
I mean, yes, I hate y'all, but it's not because of anything to do with the bird flu.
Here, if we live or die, why would they? They weren't going to come up with the vaccine. They were just going to let everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wait, this is the thing that's crazy. She's saying that they weren't going to come up with the vaccine. They were not going to come up with the vaccine. They wanted people to die. So then why did you take the vaccine? Why didn't you take it when they came out with it? If you believed that them not coming up with the vaccine for COVID meant that they didn't want to kill us, that they were going to try and kill us that way by not giving us the vaccine, then you stopped. They come out with the vaccine, and now you don't want to take the vaccine. I mean, hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. Certain monkey, worry about man flu. I'm just a fucking nightmare when I get the sniffles. Happy to work on a broken leg. That's very true too. We can absolutely be miserable shits whenever we're sick.
The whole point is to lower the numbers. On Earth. That's what the globalists want.
Globalists, and when they say globalists, you know what they mean. The Jews. That's what they mean when they say globalists.
I know I sound crazy right now, but I'm telling y'all the truth.
I know I sound crazy right now. Believe me, it's not just right now, Mimi.
What the media is reporting is that the first human case of bird flu that is severe is here in Louisiana, in a patient hospitalized in our state. The person was supposedly exposed to the virus from sick or dead birds.
Yeah, the person is over 65 and has underlying medical problems, which made him more susceptible. And yes, he had been in contact with sick and or dead birds in the backyard flock. What the flock is up with that? My son did not like my pun. Thank you for helping the algorithm turn up the radio. We appreciate any help to the algorithm that you give, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. So if God is great, why did he allow Trump to get elected?
The person has been hospitalized with a severe, what they call H5N1 infection. And, quote, the patient has experienced severe respiratory illness, currently hospitalized in critical condition. And the patient was exposed to it from the backyard flock, which would mark the first time such a flock has been associated with a bird flu infection in a U.S. resident.
And it's not the first time that an individual got sick with the bird flu. There's been over 60 bird flu infections in people since March. But the previous illnesses have been mild, and most have been detected among farm workers exposed to sick poultry or dairy cows. Because, again, bird flu could jump back and forth between poultry and cows because, again, cross-species infections can happen, especially when mutations happen. In 2 cases, an adult in Missouri and a child in California, health officials have not determined how they caught it. CDC officials said that the bird flu is still mainly an animal health issue, and the risk to the general public remains low, so they're making a much ado about nothing because one old person with underlying health conditions got sick, but, they're out to get us. As I said, not everything is a conspiracy theory. I mean, there are conspiracies that happen. But if everything is a conspiracy, then nothing's a conspiracy. That's why we don't listen to conservatives. When we mock them, we hear what they have to say because, we need to pay attention to what the dangerous people are doing, especially when those dangerous people are in power. But it's like the boy who cried wolf. And the real moral of the story of the boy who cried wolf is the fact that if people lie all the time, at some point, they're not going to believe you when you say something that's the truth. Well, similarly, if everything is a conspiracy theory, then nobody's going to take you seriously when an actual conspiracy takes place. What's unfortunate for conservatives is that if they actually read The Boy Who Cried Wolf and actually were able to they actually tried to understand what the moral of the story might be, they believe that the moral of the story of The Boy Who Cried Wolf is likely, if somebody is lying to you, you should still believe them when they tell you something else, because what if they're telling you the truth this time?
Who was picking up a dead bird?
Did have contributed.
Who was picking up a dead bird? I don't know, maybe somebody who had a dead bird in their backyard and didn't want the dead bird just sitting around to be picked apart by other birds and or other wildlife and other creatures, so that, maybe disposing it. Usually a good idea to get rid of dead birds that are just laying around to make sure that they can't fester and have other issues that take place.
Was part of the reasons. The patient is over 65, had under.
I say, Jeff, turn up the radio. Wasn't that a rock band that no one even remembers, the One Hit Wonder? I remember the song was called Turn Up the Radio. I need the music. Give me some more. Turn up the radio. And that was Autograph who sung Turn Up the Radio. So it wasn't the name of the band, it was just the song. Unless they were singing about turnips themselves, but, you know. Turn up for what?
Bird.
Did have contributing health problems, supposedly.
Supposedly. Because why would you believe? Why would you actually believe the report that there was contributing or underlying health problems? There's no reason to believe that because it's supposedly.
But they did not address questions about the patient's symptoms or the backyard flock. I don't know how he was exposed, what he was doing.
He was probably picking up the damn dead bird or dealing with the sick birds, whatever, in his backyard. And he got sick himself because, you know, he was susceptible. Because people that are susceptible to disease are more likely to be harmed by the disease. Like, you know, that's why we told people to stay home during COVID.
But there you go, right here in Louisiana. 8 states have reported cases of the bird flu.
You need to go see about a dude? Well, have fun at the dude.
So, there you
Okay,
go.
so you're telling me I'm supposed to believe that a flock of birds mysteriously were not afraid of the human, okay? And they got close enough to this person to give him the bird flu, okay?
No, they just gave him the bird and settled. The birds walked up and was like, giving him the bird. Now, I'm supposed to believe, well, yeah, maybe he had a flock of birds that, you know, he was dealing with. Maybe they were, I don't know if they were chickens or turkeys or what kind of birds they were, or maybe they were just birds in a big field that he was having to deal with. But Mimi can't believe it, can she?
Ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
It might have been a flock that they had some dead birds, maybe. I'm just speculating.
And okay, and this human is now going around picking up dead birds.
Exactly.
I don't believe it.
Well, if you don't believe it, it must not be true then.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. We had a dead bird. I used a sweep. I swept it up. I put it in a container, and I.
So you picked up the dead bird that you found, and you swept it up, and you put it away. But she can't believe that someone else would do the same thing. What a dumbass.
I can't with these.
Most.
Why are they spraying?
I can't with you.
Why are they spraying in our skies? How do we know?
Oh, now we're at chemtrails. What are they? They're spraying things in the sky. That must be some mysterious thing that's being sprayed from 30,000 feet in the air is more responsible for spreading the bird flu than a bird in the backyard. I mean, it is a metal bird, I guess, right?
Transmission of bird flu has been documented. Most cases in people have been mild. They have been found among farm workers exposed to the virus through interactions with infected poultry or cattle. Common symptoms include cough, sneezes, pink eye, that kind of thing.
I thought Scott Baio gave people pink eye.
And the Louisiana case highlights the risk of exposure outside of farms, said Dr. Peter Chin Hong of the University of California, San Francisco. So there you go.
And of course they're from San Francisco, so they're not going to believe it. Because, you know, anything from San Francisco must be bad. Must be linked to Pelosi too, right?
That's the latest.
I understand the farmers. They do handle the animals.
No, she can understand the farmers, but she can't understand somebody in their backyard. Chucker John. Yeah, Chucker John. This chick must believe every conspiracy theory. That's exactly my point. Is that if everything is a conspiracy theory, then nothing is a conspiracy. Nobody's going to believe you if you actually have a real conspiracy going on. Yeah, she latches on to every single freaking thing. That's why I wanted to play this one, because I haven't listened to one of these episodes personally in a while, but I started listening to it a little bit earlier and was like, this is going to be such good fodder for the show. Let's just do a reaction video. Let's do a reaction to that during the show and make fun of Jeff and Mimi Carrere.
Okay.
The latest.
I understand the farmers. They do handle the animals. Okay, they do. Okay, but I do not believe a flock of birds infected somebody, and what? So they just say, "Oh, you have the bird flu." Really? Is there a specific test that tells you it's a bird?
Is there? Yes. That's how they know. They test you for what you are sick with, and they say, "Oh, this is the bird flu because it's the H1N5 or whatever the numbers are." Yes, that's what they do. They test you for what you're sick with, and it's like, I don't believe that somebody had strep. What, did they just test you for strep? Yes, they swab the back of your throat and put it in the petri dish, and you see if you have strep or not. I don't believe that.
So just say you have the flu. Oh, and we're going to call it the bird flu. Like, I don't understand. And what?
Yeah, just because Mimi Carrera doesn't understand doesn't make it not true. But everybody's heard about the bird flu. Everybody knows that the bird flu's the word. Bird, sorry.
Like, I don't understand. And what happened to monkeypox? Where did that go? We were all going to die of monkeypox, and now there's no monkeypox. So we've got bad monkeys and bad birds. What else? And then we're going to have bad cows and bad chickens and what?
Bad radio hosts.
Next thing you know, they're going to get the sheep and the venison, and like every animal is now we're going to be infected with some deadly disease on Earth, and we're all doomed, and we're all going.
I mean, it is a possibility that you could have animal cross species infections, and as such, they could be the more that they transfer, there's more opportunities to mutate, which is why you need to get a handle on these diseases ahead of time and nip them in the bud so that they don't have the opportunity to mutate and don't have the opportunity to jump from cows to chickens to sheep to deer to whatever. There's no such thing as Bigfoot or Snuffleupagus. I've heard of Snuffleupagus.
Here's a concern. There's no evidence of the virus spreading between humans, but scientists are concerned that it could mutate and develop that ability, which could touch off the next pandemic.
And all those vax restrictions were in that bill. And then miraculously, we have this bird flu going around. They hate.
They hate us.
They hate us.
No, we hate you because you're a bunch of dumb morons. That's why we hate you.
They hate us. Okay? I know. I'm very agitated right now because it's so obvious what's going on, and I just don't understand why people don't wake up and see it.
Are you related to anybody named Mimi, Allison? And I mean, I know you're from the area, so are you related? I forget what the name was. I forgot what her original name was, her maiden name before it was. I don't even know if it's her maiden name. I don't know what her name was previously to that. Let's see. Maybe a career, maiden name. According to NOLA.com, Mimi Carrera, meanwhile, has been described as a race-baiting provocateur by the Bayou Brief and recently received scrutiny for her creation of Robert E. Lee beads. Hilarious. Bayou Brief, unmasking the racist resistance. Let's see. Jeff, Mimi, Carrera, marriage announcement. That should be what brings it up. See, if she's from Louisiana originally, there's a possibility, maybe not close related, but some of my people have been around here for a bit. So everyone has an Aunt Dottie, bless her heart. Hilarious. Let's see. I am not seeing anything pertaining to a marriage announcement. Maybe they didn't announce it in the papers. I don't know. What is this? This sounds like a good article. Minority Health Month, April 18th, 2022. Oh, that's a PDF file. Let's see. Mimi Owens Carrera. So Mimi Owens, that was her original name before she married. Crew member Mimi Owens Carrera, wife of local right-wing pundit Jeff Carrera, caused additional damage in the run-up to this year's parade on February 23rd when she posted on social media her support for leaving Robert E. Lee's name and statue in a site near the city center. That post pushed locals to boycott the parade, leaving large portions of the route sparsely populated. I'm sure that Mimi Carrera's things have caused the parade to be less populated. I'm sure that's correlation, not causation there. In the past couple of years, it becomes more evident. Senior research Linda Bates, senior research analyst for the intelligence product, increased racist language and comments. Trump has left people feeling emboldened to be racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, and anti-LGBTQ. Consequently, though, I think it has been galvanized more of a resilient effort in communities and organizational networks across the country. So there's only one mention of poor old Mimi Owens, i.e. Mimi Carrere, on that thing. So I don't know if you're related to any Owens or not, but there you go.
And develop that ability which could touch off the next pandemic.
And all those vax restrictions were.
We already talked about that.
Right now, we're hearing that Johnson is looking at Plan B. Looking at the
birth control medicine.
What that entails.
No, I know
but,
it's not.
He's off of this and going to come up with another one.
I ain't pulling out the family almanac to Tana Shore.
And we'll see
you probably don't want to know, because if she actually is a relative, you might be
from
like,
the big man.
No, Trump shut this down, no doubt about it, saying, quote, "I'm totally against Mike Johnson's spending bill." I mean, that did.
The only relative of my wife that I know about that's super famous is that she's actually related some way to Lacey Chabert, which is kind of neat.
Trump.
Well, I think Elon did it, because Trump didn't come out until after Elon.
He said, she said.
Oh, let's see. They're going to the next commercial break. I want to touch on the next, because I know one of my favorite callers called into the next part of the show. So let's see. Let's fast forward on through. More stupid commercials. News. Talking about a potential freeze going on, maybe coming up on the North Shore. This weird ass commercial about Fatima.org, which is so stupid. This is a long ass commercial break. I'm glad I don't play commercials anymore. Or not much anymore. Oh, Lord have mercy. Does she just come... I have not listened to the show for a very long time. And does she come out of every commercial break and announce who she is? Well, listen to this. This is bizarre.
I'm Mimi Carrere, and I just read something very disturbing.
Go ahead.
Apparently, this Russian general that we just assassinated, in one of the regions that they conquered in Ukraine, they got a sample of the bird flu from our lab.
I'm sure
U.S.
they did not.
Department of Defense lab. They created it, and they assassinated him. And now we're going to build 12 more bioweapon labs so they can keep doing this to us. They cannot pass this bill. We have to shut down the government. These people are crazy. They are crazy.
Well,
they shouldn't be allowed.
We have a reprieve, and it's 2 more days because they're going to try to pass something before Friday. So pressure's got to continue. Can't let up. 504-556-9696. What's that?
Everybody should be calling, and you don't have to just call your guy. Sometimes I call the representative that's causing the biggest trouble. Sometimes they don't know where you're calling from. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, they pass bills that affect everyone in the entire country, not just their state, everyone. So you have to hold them all accountable, all of them, because they're wackadoos. And I'm just so mad that they're now pushing.
She has no room to call anybody a wackadoo.
Jumping to animals.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I think.
Again, she still doesn't understand that viruses can jump from animals to humans or vice versa.
556-9696. Let's welcome our good friend, great contributor from the Buckeye State, the Queen City, Cash Money, checking in this evening. What's happening, Cash? How you?
Just watching the madness. Mad cow disease, bird flu. I mean, it's all bull. That's the animal. It's all bull.
What was it? Now they're going to have, if they have the swine flu, they didn't think Donald Trump could ever win re-election, but now then we get swine flu.
It's all bull. That's the animal. It's all bull. That's what it is.
Yes, everything.
Anyway, that's Speaker of the House. I mean, how long has he been there now? A couple years? Remember the day that he was trying to get into that position? What did I say, Jeff? He is a pino rhino, treasonous pig. He's a...
Now, before we go on with this cash money guy any further, I do want to bring this one up as well. This clip, I think we need to bring up this clip as well, because this clip is very important to play while cash money is on, because this is a clip that I got from way back in the day, from back in 2022, mind you. I still have those. I was searching through my clips as he was talking, and I knew I had it somewhere, but it's cash money saying something that's very apt to describe about, conservatives and how they feel.
We don't care about evidence.
Yep, we don't care about evidence. Say Darwin's awards are the teacher's biggest nightmare, the funniest story at the Christmas party, but also the stupidest man to ever be elected president of the USA. Yep. To Josh, a bull saw a cow from across the fence. It's all bull, but chemtrails are real. Exactly, Trucker John. It's not believable that science happens, but it is believable that we're spraying things from airplanes to control people's mind. It is conceivable that, or they believe that the vaccine, they even before the vaccines came out, they said that they were going to use the vaccines for this to put 5G chips into everybody, so we'll all be connected via 5G. That's believable, but yet they don't believe that animals can transmit to other animals.
That's how all these politicians become politicians. Somebody once told them, hey, you're good looking. Let's make you a politician, because it ain't taking brains.
I'm good looking. They never made me a politician. And how does that explain Mitch McConnell? Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is not very good looking at all. And yet, somehow he keeps getting elected. So I don't think attractiveness is a matter of it. I mean, Matt Gaetz with his sunken in forehead. How is that? How does that explain Matt Gaetz?
Speaker of the House can say Plan B tomorrow. Well, you can move on to Plan Z. Ain't none of them going to work. We're shutting down this government this time. And
no, you're not. You're not shutting down the government at all. Let's see, another idiot that did not pay any attention in their high school biology classes. DB Golding says over on Twitch. Exactly, but that's the thing. It's like when they start talking about, like, deals with gender and trans people or whatever, and they start the idea that, oh, maybe there's more than two genders or whatever. These people use kindergarten cop biology. Like, they stopped learning biology in elementary school. When the kid was like, all boys have a penis and all girls have a vagina. My dad is a gynecologist and he gets to look at vaginas all day. Like, that's where they stopped learning biology. Now, like Scientific American has several in-depth articles with like graphs and pictures that explain why gender is, the gender binary is an antiquated and overly simplified look at how people are or how people develop, because it's not just about XY chromosomes, and we have more than 2 known combinations of X and Y chromosomes as well, and there's all that sort of stuff. But these people stopped at kindergarten cop biology. Kindergarten cop biology. All boys have a penis, all girls have a vagina. No. You need to step up your games. These are I used to say in responses like, yes, we understand you were the people who had to cheat to pass your science classes in high school. I don't. That makes me mad, Trucker John. I'm mad I didn't think of it first. Yeah, Donald Trump is a real looker. Yeah. How the hell does that explain? I'm sure these people are like, oh, Donald Trump is such a handsome man. Yeah. Whatever.
Monday, we're going to pull to have that man fired from the position. My question is, who's going to take his position? Who's going to be speaker for the momentary relapse? You remember who I suggested?
Momentary relapse or momentary prolapse?
Suggested 2 years ago before he got the position? I suggested, hey, how about Donald take the job until he's ready?
Yeah, the cowbird flew through the chemtrails. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy chemtrail dog.
And tomorrow he'll take it for 20 days before he goes in for inauguration and still juggle all the business he has to juggle.
Right.
Somebody has to step up. How about Marjorie? Put her.
Somebody needs to tell Cash Money that when you're licking the boot that you're not supposed to deep throat the boot.
Put her up in there temporary till January 20th. Somebody needs.
That's all we need. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 2 steps away from the presidency. Ugh.
Because these treasonous fools.
And that's they wouldn't want that to happen. Why? Because they wouldn't want somebody to ruin that all of Donald Trump's T-shirts that say 47.
Roll. Because these treasonous fools are going to try to turn up the heat from now till January 20th.
You know,
and
Big hook. The birds and the bees is where it happens, and those storks deliver more than gherkins. Oh, there are gherkins being delivered, all right. Hey-o.
Not like the idea of letting them.
A guy who I think might be like a compromise candidate, might be able to get enough votes, is Jim Jordan. And I think he'd be better than this guy.
Yeah, Jim Jordan, the guy that helped cover up the whole gymnast sexual assault thing. But yeah, put Jim. I mean, it makes sense for if they support Donald Trump, they support the sexual abuser that is Donald Trump, because he's crowned civilly liable for sexual abuse in that New York case. They're fine with that. So clearly that's why they're fine with Jim Jordan as well.
I really do, but he does not have the gumption.
He's your guy in Ohio.
Let's see, DB Golding. I love asking idiots what sex are those people that have Sawyer's syndrome, born with a vagina, no uterus, but has XY chromosomes. Yep, I bring that up all the time. I have a friend who they assigned my friend female at birth because they saw the parts, but he has XY chromosomes, and eventually, transitioned to being a man externally, even though he already had the XY chromosomes. He had to have the top surgery to deal with the fact that there was still breast tissue there. But yeah, there's all sorts of different ways. I mean, there's all sorts of different combinations. There's 6 known combinations of at least of XY chromosomes. You have X0 where there's no Y, but there's only one chromosome there. You have XXY, XXXY. You have XXXXX, XXXX. You have lots of different variations of these things. At least 6 of them are known. Plus, you have the, you can lack the Y gene but still have the SRY. You can lack the Y chromosome but still have the SRY gene. That can help you to prevent and perhaps seem more masculine or whatever. You can have other things. You could be intersex. There's all sorts of different varieties. And the way I kind of consider gender, the way I've kind of viewed it is, let's say you have 2 points on a graph where one says male, one says female. And then everybody kind of gets, put as a splatter graph, or a dot here, dot here, dot here. And depending on your hormone levels and your genetics and how everything develops in your body, maybe you're on this side of the male side, and so you're hyper masculine, or maybe you're on this side of the you're hyper feminine, but maybe you ended up your dot ended up directly between male and female. That's probably people who end up being saying that they're non-binary because they don't necessarily feel that the male or female descriptions. Then you have other people who are gender fluid, who might maybe go back and forth a little bit, or you might have people that are way up here where gender is it's even more obscure to them, and they can't really place masculinity or femininity out of them. They just consider themselves agent. All of them are valid descriptors because there's infinite genders, because there's infinite little possible combinations of hormone levels, chromosome development, XY chromosomes, genes, etc. So, Trucker John, my favorite is XXX. Me too, my friend, me too.
I know, he's right here in Ohio, and he's had his opportunity, and he didn't have the cojones. He didn't want the position. He didn't take.
Do you think he didn't have the cojones, or do you think he didn't want it because he knew that that even more stuff was going to come up about him, and he basically had to, he kept himself happy with the position that he was in, and didn't. I mean, maybe that is a lack of cojones. I don't know, but it's probably just a little modicum of intelligence to know that you don't want to put yourself too far out there, because you're going to end up having all this information spread about you, even more so that you didn't want spread out about you before.
Of the horns, and he could have.
I kind of like ZZ and mixed in with XX. Do you like ZZ top or bottom? Sorry.
To second guess a position for someone who might have won. No.
Yeah, they for the good part of the first part of the show, they don't like the fact that Speaker Johnson was trying to pass this bill, the continuing resolution to continue the funding of the government, because it had too much stuff that the Democrats wanted. Boo-hoo. But, otherwise you shut the government down.
instantaneous. Hey, give it to Mike Lindell. I don't really give a fly at this moment.
Mike, yeah, they give it to the My Pillow guy. That makes total sense. These are the same people that want the first cousins to marry. Not just first cousins to marry. These are the same people that want to keep child marriage legal. They tried to make it illegal for people to marry children in like West Virginia, and the people that had a problem with it were the Republicans. Well, what happens if somebody knocks up a child and they want to continue on having, and they want to keep the child and want to marry the person? Shouldn't you be able to marry the person that you knocked up illegally? That's what these people support. But they want to preach to us about sexual morality.
Be the smartest people in the room. We just got to have somebody with their thumb on the fly at this moment. We ain't got to be the smartest people in the room. We just got to have somebody with their thumb on the pulse to say, you ain't doing that.
We don't have to be the smartest people in the room. You don't worry. You are not going to be anywhere near the list of people who are the smartest people in the room. I'm going to have to copy that and put that into a new Audacity window, because if that's not deserving of another clip to be played on the soundboard, I don't know what is. Let's play it again.
We ain't got to be the smartest people in the room. We just got to have. Just got to have somebody with.
Let's see. So then to do that. Oh crap. Shift, hold, delete, then go back here.
We ain't got to be the smartest people in the room.
Nope, you don't. And
we don't care about evidence.
You don't care about the evidence either.
Who do you think, Mimi? Who would you like to see as speaker?
Well, I like Thomas Massey because he's not bought by AIPAC.
Okay. See, that's the thing. That just came out of left field. Not bought by, and so now she doesn't like the American-Israeli pact. I guess, for reasons. I thought these people supported Israel, but now the truth comes out. They support Israel, but they don't want AIPAC. Make that make sense. I can make it make sense, because they conflate Jews and Israel and think that support for Israel means support for Jews, but yet they don't want Jews to fund government here. They want the Jews to be over there. That's why that comment was made, in my opinion. First cousins married here, 2 daughters, both doctors, 1 son. He pulled off a murder-suicide. Nice. Surrender monkey. First cousin chickens is what you need. 8 legs on a squirrel, right? Well, then you're going to get some really weird-ass flu from that, right? So you're going to get the squirrel flu. Gotta love the squirrel flu.
Okay.
I agree.
And he can't be bribed.
I agree.
He can't be strong-armed
He'd be good.
because he's not compromised at all in the least.
I guarantee you that if Thomas Massey would be put into this position of Speaker of the House, and he was Speaker of the House right now, he would have probably been one of the people to be like, let's pass this continuing resolution so we don't have government closed down during Christmas. And then they'd be like, we need somebody else now. Because once these people enter like the positions of actual power, except for Donald Trump, they start to realize, oh, life isn't as simple as my constituents like to make it seem. Life isn't as simple as conservative wackadoodles try and make it seem to be. There's actually more complex issues that we have to deal with above and beyond. We can't fund government because government sucks.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. And for someone who would actually want it right now, I said the word. I like Marjorie. Hey, Carrie Lake. But, I want her to be voice of America. But shit,
Carrie Lake. That... I mean, yes, you don't have to be an actually elected member of Congress to be Speaker of the House. That is not a requirement for House Speaker. It's traditionally done where you elect somebody who is a member of the House of Representatives to be the Speaker of the House, but you can elect somebody else to be Speaker of the House that's not in Congress. Which is why a lot of people were floating around, well, make Donald Trump Speaker of the House. He, of course, wasn't going to want to do that because that would require him to work, and he doesn't want to work.
She'll take Speaker of the House momentarily, and she'd definitely do the job. And ain't no way to shove her around, and that's what we really need at this point of the game.
Ain't no one going to shove her around because she will cuckold them.
You know, numbers man who figured the whole mess out and was about to stolen an election. The man is gifted, and he'd never sell out America for $1. And you treasonous fools, I don't know where you get the gumption, but...
Didn't Massey raise $25,000 to bury his dead baby that's unaccounted for? Let's see. Was it Thomas Massey? Thomas Massey, dead baby. Let's see if that brings up any results. 2 weeks after the passing of his wife, Rhonda, Thomas Massey posted a emotional message on social media, thank you, whatever. Well, there's the passing of his wife. I don't know about the baby, though. Massey is amused by conspiracy theories surrounding wife's death. Although I first reacted with indignation to the internet conspiracy theories about her death, I've since been amused because I know Rhonda would have laughed, and if I were on the outside, I might have similar concerns. Kentucky congressman said he can dismiss one of the conspiracy theories. She did not take the COVID shots. Massey said he and his wife were both seropositive at the time they became available. He tested positive for COVID-19 antibodies in 2020. Of course they didn't get vaccinated. I wonder if that's why she died. Massey had opposed a $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief package that drew broad bipartisan support. In his post, he said their house was very secure and his family this keeps scrolling on me. Anyway, so I mean, I'm sorry the fact that his wife died, but Jesus, I mean, not taking the vaccine, you're taking your life in your own hands.
Numbers man who figured the whole mess out and was about
let's talk
back to the
about
election.
Numbers man.
We are going to sort every single one of yous out. You think the rules of this game are so fixed that we can't do nothing? And when we ask all of us legitimate American souls what we would like to do tomorrow, and start with question 1 and go to question 2.
Oh, see, I didn't
one
stay
and go to
around
question
listening to
2.
This Cash Money dude has this obsession with the idea that we should take over Facebook and we should use it as a platform to vote and to vote on issues that we find that are important. And then the elected officials will then have to listen to everybody and how they vote on Facebook. Yet they'll trust a Facebook election online, but they won't trust any sort of electronic transmission of votes in a regular election. And when I was like, how do you take away Facebook from a private owner? Oh, you just have to put him in jail.
You people are all toast, and that is what you have forced us to come to. When we ask us all, you won't be able to manipulate any deviants in this country, and you probably won't even be able to manipulate in the whole wide world. We've got the greatest common sense, and none of us are being listened to, and
We've got the greatest common sense. Yeah, buddy. Sure.
And every one of you government officials, you're not doing what your constituents want, and we all know it. And no one knows how to stop the madness. No one even suggests a solution. We, the people, instantly and daily. I'm going to get my moment one day, Jeff, I swear. Because
well, hey.
What are we going to do when we ain't got a country? Somebody going to come banging on my door saying, all right, we're ready now. Yeah. And I'm saying, let's be ready today anyway. Can somebody get me in touch with Trump? Have that man call me direct, please.
Yeah, have him. I'm sure Donald Trump wants to talk to the self-admitted crack-addicted born baby of Larry Flynt. I shit you not. I shit you not. This person says that he was born addicted to drugs, which is sad, and sad that it should happen. But he was born addicted to drugs, and that his biological parent is Larry Flynt. That's how much of a wackadoodle this person is.
Let me just interject here. Trump said
sure, Mimi.
that Trump said that he's delivering this country back to the people. And this is it's not business as usual anymore.
To the people, and by the people, he means the rich. These people don't view the peons, the pores, as people.
And then they forget about it, and they can't stand the fact that we're all awake now and we're all voting, and they are.
They're all awake. Does that mean they're all woke?
I know, because there's no instantaneous of we the people, and if we get to that point and we're smart enough, we have the technology, we're wise enough, let's quit playing dumb. It's time.
Boy, I don't think you playing. Because, as you say,
we don't care about evidence.
And as you say,
we ain't got to be the smartest people in the room.
Nope, not at all.
And everybody gets a voice. And
well, you know what?
People
you're on to something, my friend, because that's really what Elon Musk is doing with.
I know.
He's turning it.
So why don't instead of talking to Trump, you should go talk to Elon and have him implement your little plan of having to have a conversation. Of course, my biggest flaw with this guy's idea of asking every American what they want every morning, who decides what questions to ask? Is it you? Are you deciding what questions that need to be asked? Or is it other people? And who decides how the questions are worded? Because how a question is worded could determine how somebody votes on it.
He's turning it in.
I would love to do a 2-hour stand-up
today. He said the thing was killed because of the voice of the people.
I want to entertain them all.
The people, i.e. the voice of Elon.
Okay.
Every single one of them need to laugh and giggle, and I would just love that mic for a couple hours on a private room stage, and it wouldn't matter who I am. I don't want credit.
This crazy guy would probably stand up in a room by himself and think he's making other people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a voice, and it's got a thumb on the pulse of a society, I believe. But we'll see.
You just shared it, my friend.
Pray for America.
Thank you. Cash.
Thanks,
all right, I think we've had enough of this. We don't need to do any more of this. We got Jeff, we got Mimi, we got Cash Money, we got all the fun stuff to talk about. I was able to find the audio finally, or whatever. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I talked about this on Monday or not. Maybe I made the joke on Monday or not. I don't remember. If I did, you're hearing it again. I did make the joke Tuesday, last night on the Nerdy Dan stream, though, because I think I came up with it yesterday. Because the big thing now, one of the big things is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to take fluoride out of all the water. And I finally figured out why RFK Jr. wants to take all the fluoride from the water. He wants the rest of us to look like all the Trump supporters. Right? He wants the rest of us to all be toothless and whatever, and so that we can't make fun of them for being toothless, inbred-looking folks, because we'll all be toothless, because we won't have the fluoride protection. And of course, to end the show, we have a return of the Rosie Posies. Hello, Rosie Posey. Thank you for coming back and saying hello to all of the people watching the Liberal Dan radio program, saying hello to all the liberal Danimals. Rosie, are you a liberal Danimal? I can't believe you let me pick you up. I can't believe you let me pick you up. Nope. Now she's running away. Oh well. I can't get my lovin' from my Rosie Posey. Oop. Just hit the mic. Josh, you presume wrong. I will be on the air. I intend on being on the air on Monday, and I also probably will be on the air Wednesday. So unless there's something happens and I'll post it on YouTube and on Blue Sky or whatever, if there's some reason why I wouldn't be doing a show on Wednesday, but I'm off. Wednesday night's not a big deal for Christmas. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I guess, is the big deal. What do I know as a Jewish person? But we do have a tree up for the kids. But yes, I'll be on next week. And I'll have to think of who the hypocrite of the year might be, but I think we all know who the best candidate for hypocrite of the year is. But on the last show of the year, the December 30th show of 2024, we will announce the hypocrite of the year officially and do that. So Jeff Curry toothpaste was invented here in Missouri, otherwise it would be called teeth paste, right? There you go. I mean, I'm from Maryland originally. That joke from Maryland is if you're in Maryland, you make the joke about the toothbrush was made in West Virginia. Otherwise, it would be called a teeth brush. Here in Louisiana, depending on where you live, if you're in like northern Louisiana, it's Arkansas. If you're LSU area, it's Alabama. So same joke over and over, but still funny nonetheless. Anyway, we are going to, again, we'll end the show. Unless I feel like coming on, they did say it's going to be, well, I mean, if the Gates thing is coming out the 24th, then absolutely we're going to have a show on the 25th. Absolutely. We'll have to have a show on the 25th. Just to cover the release of the Gates report. We will do that. Absolutely 100%. But otherwise, we'll still be back here Monday, 8 p.m. Central, here, liberaldanradio.com or twitch.tv/liberaldanradio as well. And as always, we will end the show with another playing of the War on Christmas intro, and then after that is when Twitch stream will end, and after that, you'll still hear Nimbus on the YouTube channel. But anyway, please remember, if you haven't liked the stream already, like it, share the stream, share other videos, comment on other videos, get the algorithms going. If you want to send me a nice little Hanukkah gift, you can Venmo Liberal Dan, just do friends and family. You could become a patron. You could subscribe here or become a Liberal Danimal on YouTube. Go subscribe over on Twitch. All that other good stuff. So until next week, this is Dan Zimmerman with Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the land Fox News warned its viewers of a dastardly plan. The liberals were launching their war on the season to get rid of Christmas and commit acts of treason, removing decorations out of their sight and telling you that Santa and Jesus ain't white. Environmentalists who will come right after your soul. They hate all things Christmas, especially the coal. They'll sneak in your house all dressed in their flannel and instead give the bad kids some new solar panels. They'll take up all decorations that please us. They'll even go after tiny baby Jesus. Now all these Fox lies cause such a frustration. Who would save us all from this misinformation? When live from the net there came lots of chatter. Could it be old St. Nick or perhaps someone fatter? Broadcasting from New Orleans down in Louisiana, it was none other than Liberal Dan, coming to save the holiday season, busting through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. But I cannot do it myself, he exclaimed. So he called other groups, each one by name, on Christians, on Muslims, on Wiccans, on Jews, on Hindus and Buddhists and atheists too. Let's all spread the word and tell them indeed that there's no war on Christmas, just one on greed. So instead of joining this manufactured fight, listen to Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right.